to love that you have shine.
Sunshine, sunshine.
I think it's about the time. Gotta stand up for what it's worth.
We all look at the facts. This problem is not white, it's not black.
But if we sit and relax, then the world's gonna change.
Well, we keep saying that all this is because we are black.
Yeah, it's every way. Love is enough. Working together, live together in brotherly love, sisterly love. No way to the grudge. That's the way it should be. More harmony and unity. Me for you and you for me. Brotherly love. Enough is enough. Working together. Let's together in brotherly love, sisterly love. No way to the grudge. More harmony, now more unity, now.
Ooh. Welcome once again to the Blacknififcent Radio Show here on the galaxyofilwe.net. I'm telling you, what a day we're coming in. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a beautiful day. Well, it is. It's a lovely, bright day. But we could definitely put the freezer upon maximum today. We're at 0 degrees here in the UK. 30th of the 11th. Let's go for this. Come on.
One thing, sure I will rise, I will. Rise and shine like the morning sun shines bright. Bright down the brightest star. Rise above strain, rise above pain, and higher. High above the raging storm. 'Cause happiness is my friend. Sometimes coffee, sometimes tea, sometimes emptiness fill my cup. But I will rise and give thanks and praise. Happiness is my friend. Oh yes, I will rise. I will rise. I will rise and sing this little song. I will rise. I will rise and dance this little dance. And the more if given the chance, I will dance some more. One thing I know for sure, I will rise, I will. Oh yes, I will rise and shine like never before. Rise up, bright as bright can be. Rise above sickness, rise above stress, and higher enough to calm the storm. 'Cause happiness is my friend. Happiness is my friend. Happiness is my friend. My very good friend. Happiness is my friend. Happiness is my my friend. Oh, happiness is my friend. My very good friend. Happiness. Happiness is my friend. Oh, happiness
Yes.
is my friend. Happiness is my friend. My very good friend. Happiness is my friend. I know happiness is my friend.
I always have to give the full length, innit? I have to always give you the full length. All right, let me just see if I can catch this one before it starts up again. There you go. Ah, catch him. Boy, my fishing is getting very good now. Anyhow, welcome to the Blacknififcent show here on the galaxy of forwe.net. We're gonna get some guests coming in earlier to this rising here. Thank you, brother Ayo, for your introduction to this beautiful day. Last day of November. Last day of the November time. Oh wow. Countdown. Countdown. Countdown to the mid winter time. And I'm telling you, we have come with both hands clasped together, grabbing them like anything to get some heat back in the body. I'm gonna say if you're gonna have to if you have to hit out onto the roads, right? Please wrap up warm, wear your gloves, your scarf, your hat, your thermal underwear, 2 trousers, whatever you need to do. Let's keep the warmth into our bodies, right? Get some warm, get some warm liquids, not hot. Get some warm liquids within your body, right? This is not the time to be. I'll have ice with that, please. No. Stop them styling business. Get some hot business inside of you, right? Get some nice hot chocolate, you know, them type of drinks there. Some nice hot herbs. Yeah. Spice up your thing. Warm up your bodies within yourself. Okay. I'm going to play a little thing later on in our ancestral voices, which will give you some assistance, because even as we're going through this autumnal time of year, we need some serious assistance in there as well, right? Let me see if our guests have joined us at this time. No, not yet. All right, let me just I'll tell you what I do. I will send a message to them both and then ensure that they have the right link to come into the program. Yeah, to come into the program today, because I would really love to see them both with us early on in the morning, rising in the morning with us. Yeah. Anyway, so we come to the last of November, as I was saying, right? And this is the month of excellence, as we have been emphasizing. We have been emphasizing on this, right? Let me just see much. Okay. Okay. So right. Okay, then no problem. Let me just I just reiterate that thing there. All right. So one of our guests is doing some home duties. Let's see what the other one I do. She's probably still in her bed. No. I can't say that because let's put it this way. She has been exceptional over the last thing. Okay, here we go. Let me put that one in. Let's see how it goes. All right. Let's see if she can link in with us today, this morning. Yes. So she's on standby, and we should be with us any moment now. Right. That's our sister Sandra from JA. Right. And then we see if our sister Sandra from UK can join us as well for a short while anyway. Because as you know, we all got our challenges and everything for today, right? Anyhow, in the meantime, let me give you some of this one, yes, sir. Yes. Go. Fire.
I've no price tag. You must be stupid. Right. Bunch of Bantan. Kabaka Pyramid. Junior Biles.
You seek of only vanity and no love for humanity shall fade away, fade away.
Yeah.
He who checks for only wealth and not for his physical health shall fade away, fade away.
Skibbly bang. Them a move too wild. A run down Kyle. What that them a do fi boost up them profile? Them a take it too far. More than miles. The example them a set fi black woman and child. Them sell out fi dollar bills and silver coins. Subliminally children a get hypnotized by them 20 teenagers. Them start improvise. Start carry gun and take one bag of life.
Them some money and them that and them no need no other. Some of them really don't know themselves. Who no act like who no happy, yet no envy the brother. Your soul is better than all earthly wealth. My friend, you better know yourself. We see them a go astray and them no want no help. The father I go beat them with a golden bell. These thoughts I won't keep to myself.
You seek of only vanity and no love for humanity shall fade away, fade away.
Skibly bang.
He who checks for only wealth and not for his physical health shall fade away, fade away.
Accurate. To be poor it is a crime, but look for who do the time. Spending trillions on war, one couple billion of a dime. And the richest country, them were full of gold and full of oil. Them instigating tribal war and economic genocide. And down in the ghetto, them a come and sell with lies. And I make a bag of promises and no can verify. But this a revolution, it will not be televised. The Rasta man now open every eyes, so I can see.
The rich is getting richer every day. And the little that the poor man got, it shall be taken away.
Welcome to
You what
the
I
Galaxy.
say?
We got
You what I say?
the 1% who own the world, why keep it all to themselves? While the sufferers are fit tight to them belt. The preacher makes some money, yet tell the congregation. The Lord help those who help themselves. The leaders are like feeders, the riches and deceivers. The worst of mankind now shows itself. We have seen the transition, there is no love for creation. Each and every man a look out for themselves. Them some money and them dad and them no need no other. Some of them really don't know themselves. Who no act like who no happy, yet no envy the brother. Your soul is better than all earthly wealth. My friend, you better know yourself. We see them a go astray and them no want no help. The father I go beat them with a golden bell. These thoughts I won't keep to myself.
He who seeks of only vanity. And not for his physical health shall fade away, fade away.
Yes, that's what we have. Kabaka Pyramid and Buju Banton right there. So fade away, fade away. Boy, what can I say? What can I say? From the Sunday, the news of the uprising, liberation movements by the people in Somalia. I was talking with another person, one of my neighbor there from Sudan, and he was telling me of his plight of coming to the UK. And even as I look around my local area, I see many who are looking with that face of despair, but they are taking their journey. They are on their journey to make themselves better for themselves, which is not a problem. Not a problem, really. The only problem is, what is the progress? Where are they heading? What direction will they be ending up in the next 10, 20 years? Will it be for the betterment? Or will they just be bolstering a system that has systematically undermined its own citizens, let alone you as a person who has come over to this country? Even just before I come out and hit the road to come to the studio on just a few hours ago, not even an hour ago, over listening to what was being said on the news. I won't even say the news. It was just the pundits on there. those who were just talking of things that were happening in the news. And these people really don't have anything to talk about what's happening to them personally. They're finding their news and the things that they have to talk about outside of themselves. In other words, what's happening to them directly, they're not paying attention to that. They're more interested in raging war about keeping the terrorists out. They're keeping the terrorists out. Like them have anything to terrorize. Huh? They're keeping the terrorists out. They keep instead of them saying, all the atrocities that they have committed over the years to various people around this planet. Let me be the one to say, you know what, let's let recompense. Right? They have no intentions. They don't want to make it known that they know what they did. They would never show any remorse in any way whatsoever towards us, for us. We're going to have to do it ourselves, for ourselves. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled by the smiles. I was mentioning this yesterday. I mentioned this yesterday when I was in conversation with my sister. Don't be fooled by the smiles of get along. Those who go along to get along, and they're smiling in your face. As soon as you're out of their eyesight, their face will change completely. What type of foolishness is that? But this is how many people do. They do have this two-faced attitude towards you. Yeah? Don't be fooled by that. And especially now. Seasonal greetings. Yeah, they'll be coming out with that. They'll be coming out with that on a regular basis. Oh, happy holiday. Yes, they'll be coming out with all of that. Foolishness, that. But we know that we are consistent all year round. We are consistent all year round. So we don't have to be putting up no mask. A mask to say that we are the ones who's going to be making happiness when we don't have that genuine happiness within us. I'll tell you, just before you come in, my brother, just as I was returning home yesterday evening, before I came to the studio, I was out and I was coming home. And my neighbor came out his home. And he said, "Whoa, it's cold, it's very cold." I said, "Yes, it is." And he said, "Oh, I need a hat, Where did you get your hat from?" I said, "I got it on the high street there." And I said, "You going out?" And he said, "Yeah." So I took my hat off and I gave it to him. I said, "Yeah, use this one, man." And he said, "Oh no, he didn't want to accept it initially." And I said, "Look, you're going out, put it on your head, get warm, keep warm, man. Don't worry. I've got plenty of hats inside." And then he took that moment of looking, and he said, "You're looking after your mother." And I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am." And he said, "That why do you do this?" And I said, it's my one and only life giver, my mother." I goes, "Why would I not do this?" And he just looked at me, and he smiled, and he says, "I'm very happy that you are who you are. I'm very happy, and thank you." You know, this is why we do things from the genuineness of ourselves. There was no second thought. There was a need that was required, and the need was the need was met. We don't do no second thought. Let's make it happen. Grand Risings, my brother. Grand Risings.
Yeah, Grand Rising, yeah, Grand Rising to the Galaxy family as well. Yeah, you was mentioning something just now about Somalia. You said there's some uprising in Somalia right now.
That's correct. Not Somalia. Sorry. Sierra Leone.
Sudan.
Sierra Leone.
Oh, Sierra Leone. Sierra
Yes,
Leone.
Sierra
Right.
Leone.
Sierra Leone. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, in mentioning that situation of this uprising and refugees and so forth.
Mhm.
And, you know, there's scattered these refugees all around the world. Canada, USA, around Europe, Australia, and all these places, right? And I'm saying, yeah, and they want to bring people from UK, right, into Rwanda, right? So why is it that they don't want to say, well, okay, fine. If you want to be a refugee, we can probably ask the other people in Africa, instead of them coming here into Europe and so forth, to go to, you know, like they want to send people over to Rwanda, why can they not make the same transition for the people to go to other African countries?
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
And the reason why is the depopulation of Africa. The more that we can get of those people out of Africa, then the less we're going to have to deal with. And also we can get friends because, you know, they say, well, look, you know, England is our life savior. So therefore, because it, you know, life savior, America is our life savior, we now give our allegiance to those places.
Right. Let me tell you one of the things. This it's a two-edged sword. It's a two-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
It's not only the process of them taking these refugees or sending these refugees to Rwanda, but if you have to understand that if they take these people, if Rwanda takes these refugees, they get paid per head.
Well, right? Yeah, they get paid. Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. So why don't they pay the other countries to take in the African refugees?
Hold on. And also, in their paying, they're also establishing a resurgence of presence, right? Obviously, Rwanda has got its independence, right? If they repopulated it with these refugees, which would be under the British rule, right? Then all of a sudden they have an interest within that place there, where they had already gained their independence, but they would have an interest in there, and then that would be the beginning of their occupation.
Exactly.
Right. Irrespective of who it is that they're sending there, that is their purpose. That is their main purpose of why they're doing that. Why they want to go for that region itself, just specifically.
Because it's mostly refugees from Europe and from Asia that they want to send there. It's not
That's
Africans that they send there.
It's not It's not. They're not returning Africans. That's right, and that is
They're
what
not returning Africans. No.
That's right. So even with that, and you know that Rwanda in itself is an extremely rich in mineral land, right? Precious stones, diamonds, gold, right? It is an extremely rich piece of land. Yeah. So therefore, even with that, as they are undermining and reason for actually moving back into that region, right? That would be one of the purposes.
I mean, sorry to put you there, but you mentioned that Rwanda is rich. No, Rwanda is a small country and it's not that rich. That's why they're creaming off the Congo, the side that they are to the Congo, and that's why they're putting these people fighting in the Congo, sending these guys into the Congo to fight, so that they can exploit that side of the Congo. Because you see, the Congo is like going from, it's like traveling from UK going across to Russia from the main town. You understand? In the west.
Yeah.
You see, so it's far away. So the west, the population in the west cannot deal with that, because it's that far away. You see what I'm saying? And that is that. And Kagame and what's his name, Museveni, is taking advantage of that part of the Congo, fleecing the Congo. You see. So that is why they want these people to also go in there to also be a part of that, because then until the Congo gets itself together, then they will just continue to reap havoc within that area. You see.
All right. Listen, I've got Sister Sandra with me. Right, Grand Rising's my sister.
Grand Rising, brother. Grand Rising.
Great stuff. Because you was having
Grand Rising to you, Sister Sandra. Grand Rising to you.
We was having a reverb earlier, so that's why I had to put you on
the other one
mute.
Okay.
Okay, then great. ADL, hello, freshness. How are you?
I'm just feeling blessed, highly favored, happy, harmonious, powerful, strong, and whole.
Yeah. Right, we'll have to do something about that then. We'll have to do something about that. Right.
The question is, what do we tell ourselves? So I'll leave you and the brother to continue, your brother Akram, to continue the conversation.
No. You're not sitting on the fence this rising. No. I'm not accepting that. I received a message from our sister Sandra there. She's in preparation. She's doing some home duties at this time. So, as and when she can join, she will join us.
Right. So I'd received a message. So this is in our Galaxy family. She'd I've advised her not to stress because of what she's doing. So we may put it off. We're likely to put it off until next strong.
Okay, then that's no problem.
Whereby there is less pressure on her, bearing in mind the time. And so just in terms of just filling in some of the gaps, what we'd in the past 2 strongs ago, we'd had a discussion from a carer's point of view. The 3 of us, that's Sandra in the UK, myself and Brother Aston. And we thought that we'd continue the conversation. And one of the reasons why we wanted to continue the conversation is because we are or have currently been through looking after our elders who are getting younger, and the challenges that poses to us as individuals within the family, within the health system or the health service, within the caring external carers, And we just thought that we'd start that conversation because, like I said, there's a lot more of us that are finding ourselves, whether or not we're willing participants or otherwise, wishing to do. We've taken on that mantle, that privilege, and that honor. And sometimes we may not see it as a privilege or honor, but the minute your elder transitions, you realize the privilege and the honor you were given.
Yeah.
You don't see it in real time, but when they transition, you do honestly believe and understand the honor and the privilege you were given. So that conversation will continue next strong.
No, go inside.
Brother Aqua's things. Let me just turn it down for the while.
No, I think he was going to come in there, but he was just giving me a chance just to finish off my sentence.
No. He was picking up a passenger.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's when you, when the elder has transitioned. This is whether or not they went suddenly, or they went after a long battle with life. You realize, because I'm going to be going to a funeral on Saturday, a homecoming on Saturday, for a friend who had been out here for a long period over the whole of the COVID. She'd been out with her mother and her father. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but I'm saying it anyway. She'd been out with her mother and father over the whole of the COVID, and we know that was over 12 months. She'd then been coming and going, done her last 6 months stint, went back to the UK and was due to come back to Jamaica to look after and to support, because there's systems put up in place while she was away. And she received the call. So you're not expecting the call, or you're expecting the call. You don't want the call, but you're listening for the call. So she received the call and had to come back real rapidly because her mother had already transitioned at that point. But it's that thought. And for her, in the conversations I'll have with her on Saturday will be around the glorious times that you spent. COVID was a long time for some people, but she had the opportunity to come to Jamaica and to spend hours upon days, upon 365 plus days with her parents who were getting younger and needed her support. And she gave it lovingly and willingly. And sometimes we forget that when we are in the space of missing our loved one, the connections that we were able to make as an adult, because when we're children, we don't understand or appreciate the connections because it's a different dynamic. But as adults, we are seeing a different side of the person who brought us into this world, or brought us up, or looked after us, or clothed us, sheltered us, put food on the table, put heat in the home. We're looking at it from a different angle. And it's, as adults, we have understanding and or an appreciation and or a frustration, because we want and we're expecting of our elders to be like we remember when they were young and they were able to get up and go. They were able to go to the fireside and cook the dinner for themselves, turn on the kettle, turn on the pot, go into the bathroom, go to shopping, do all the things, make their own bed, etc., etc. And they're, as they get younger, their ability to do all of those things diminishes. And sometimes we get frustrated, because I know for myself, I remember, and it was, oh, well, you can do it. And it's the conversation then becomes, I can't. And it's then, how do you balance that?
Boy, let me tell you something. Even as I have taken on my role of being a carer, it started off with just being a support assistant, and then it just all of a sudden turned into the full caring. And it was literally like and you, as you say, it is frustrating at times. But as you go along, you see that the deterioration can be extremely rapid in some stages, right? To the extent of that, make even simple tasks like making a cup of tea, right? She would be there, right? My mother would be there, and then she's saying, "Oh, I want something hot to drink," and then you'd stand up there and you look and you watch. This is at the early stages. You watch, and then she pick up like a tea, and then she's reading it, and she's reading it again. But it's not going in. It's actually tea. Yeah, and then she put it down, and then she look at something else, and like it was a chocolate or something, right? And then you realize that she has no comprehension of how to do this thing, right? So you'd go through, and then you start making it. And the thing is, as much as it's frustrating for you to stand there and watch it, it's also frustrating for them because they know what they want, but they just can't compute how to do it, how to do these tasks. So you have to be patient with them, because they're still going to be frustrated enough to say, I will do it myself, right? Because even to the extent of that, like towards the end, she was like reheating food, right? And like how she would reheat some of the foods and things. She would leave the fire on, for instance, and then the pot would be, or the pan would be burning. So I know that I would have to go in there to check if everything is turned off, if she was reheating something. Yeah. And then the other side, I know this is going to sound terrible now, but we have to do a full expose. I have to do a full expose on this, right? It's half eating food and then hiding it. Yeah. So you'd have to go through and look for things, look for plates here and there, where could it be? And then sometimes weeks later you just come across something where they sneak stuff into their room or whatever. Yeah? Right? So all these type of things are all part of the process. Yeah. And the thing is that we're speaking on this because every day there are those who are being exposed to this condition, right? But they don't know what to look out for, right? Or things that they're thinking, well, why are they doing that? And they think, are they the only one that is doing it? Personal hygiene as well, right? That's it. You would think, well, they're grown people, they must know what to do. But no, some of them literally forget, right? Or they go in there and they say, oh, what did I come in here for? And then all of a sudden they release. Yeah. Right. So and the thing is that no two people are the same. No two people are the same. The other day, I know I'm smiling, but it's not a smiley thing, really. I was combing her hair, or attempting to comb her hair, and it reminded me of the wildcat. You remember Pepe Le Pew? Yeah, it is wildcat. And then the next day, the carer come, and like wash her hair, he blow it out, and she's sitting down there as if nothing had happened. And yet I'm the one there with all the scars and bruises where she cut up my hand. Even when I showed Akira, she said, "Oh, she's terrible. This is it. She's terrible." But this is the different. You could have the two ends of the spectrum. Right? So you have to be patient. Every day is a new day. And then if you're very fortunate that you still have the connection, that they recognize you and they acknowledge you, right? Be grateful for that, because some
another stage.
Yeah. And the thing is that even for those who are close, like husband and wife, that's another thing, because imagine now, like your husband or your wife has had to go through that condition, and then they're turning around and saying, "Who are you?" Yeah. So but
yeah, it's not an easy one, and like you say, I know I was picking up in terms of my mother, some of the signs from a currency point of view, and spending money and looking at the money and not understanding, or even looking at the numbers and then seeing and being able to equate that, okay, if I give you this, that means I'm either going to get this back, or I've given you too much or too less, or she couldn't work out the mental maths. But that also applied in terms of the conversations we were having. So as much as I was ringing her from the UK, we would get into that conversation that becomes a loop. It becomes you end up, you answer a question, which is, first time around, it sounds like a legitimate question. Second time around, you think, okay, yep, you didn't hear me. Third time around, yep, I think you still didn't hear me. But by the fifth or the sixth time, you're thinking, you feel like you're in that, in a forever ending loop. And within that loop, you are, for me, the only way I could cut that loop was literally to hang up the phone. Which in itself felt harsh, but that was the only way to cut the loop. So then the next conversation became a fresh conversation, whereby that wasn't discussed, or it was discussed, but we moved on. But that was the only way that I found that I was able to do anything in relation to that.
Yeah. These are some of the signs. I mean, we're only sharing our personal journey, right? Sandra, she's was about less than a year, isn't it?
So she had last year this time. Her mother was able to, but from May of this year, having her mother having a number of falls, she just literally transitioned in terms of the relationship, just has changed, and the support that her mother needs is greater since in the last 6 months than it has been in the last this time last year.
And also to remember as well, right? But as I said, not one situation is the same. Yeah. So we're just sharing some of our journey. Obviously, we're going to go into, as time goes on, we go into the other things that we need to put in place as well. which are very, very important as well. Yeah. Also, I had a conversation just the other day about sheltered care. Now, I know that it can be a challenge in itself as well. And one of the things that I picked up in the conversation that I was having with somebody else who recently had to put his parents into care, and what it was is that it said that basically the main carer, which was his brother, he got to such a stage that he was putting his own health, his own personal health, at risk, mainly because it was a case of that he wasn't resting properly, he wasn't eating properly or maintaining himself properly, and obviously doing what he could. Both his parents, because unfortunately both of them were going through a similar situation. So the mother, first of all, she was put into care, and then the father, he went into care. I think it was like a year later, and it's only recently that they've done it. Then, obviously, you're trying to maintain their dignity, but in some cases, it's a case of that you have to, as it was put over to me, you have to say, you know what, as much as what we would like to do, it's not everything we can do. Yeah? So in that way there, sometimes you have to just let go for the betterment of not only yourself but for them as well. And it's not to say that they're going to go into a home and not be looked after in a good way, because what you would do, you do your due diligence, right? Ensure that you, if it's required, that you can get access easily enough, right? And be able to access and check on them on a regular basis as well. But I mean, there is another side to it as well, but where my daughter, she's working in that industry of the reception, so I might invite her to come and join us and just tell us what's involved in there, or might just record something for us to hear about that part of it as well. Because I think that would be very interesting to hear that side of it, because I know many of us, we would love to maintain the dignity of our parents. Also, the other side of it is, would it be practical enough to actually put them into a caring facility? Yeah.
Well, we may, depending on where our parents or guardians live, it may not be practical for us to also live there and move in on a 24/7. So then it becomes a practicality. How can we support them as best as we can, as lovingly as we can, whereby we can find that happy medium? And that may be a struggle, and it may not then be practical for the parent to come and live with us, because we don't have the space, we have a family. So sometimes it seems like there are answers, and we know there are some communities where you'll have 3 or 4 generations living in the same house at the same time. So we know, and Brother Akram often speaks about Africa, and we often know that it's that village mentality in some parts of, or historically it has been a village mentality. But from a practical point of view, it may not always seem the first answer. It may actually be the answer, but it may not always be the first answer that we go to. So we shouldn't beat ourselves up for the decisions that we make if they're made in love.
I think with the conversations, having the conversations with the ones individuals that we know personally, it may cover some of the subjects that or questions that people have been asking for a while. If you're in the listening as well, if you are in the listening, you can always go to YouTube, the Blacknififcent Radio Show, and you can listen back on these programs as well, right? On our programs. So if you go onto the YouTube and go to the Blacknififcent Radio Show, on there, you can review some of the programs that we actually are broadcasting here live on the Galaxy for we.net. Right? If you wish to join in the conversation, right, I'm going to extend this one a little bit, right? Is that okay? Is that okay with you, Sister Sandra?
Yeah.
I'm going to extend this about another 15 minutes, right? 0203 289 6504, right? Brother Akram, do you have any commentary towards what we was talking about here? I know that he may be working at the moment, so. Oh, okay, just a moment.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. We can hear you now. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm just here at the parking bus. Some people here, holistic health people here as well.
Okay then. All right. Okay. When you can, you can come back in the conversation. Yeah.
No, I'll stay till when you come up in the next 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll stay till then. Yeah.
Okay.
But as I said, the thing is, we have to look very quickly at ourselves and what we need to do in order to change our attitude. Everything goes back to us, regardless to whatever. And so there's going to be no changes until we change ourselves and change our mind and how we're going to move forward. And as I said, I wanted to extend on Sister Sandra was saying in Jamaica the other day, the context of farming and other things like that. They're importing most of their stuff. And I'm saying, why don't the farmers farm so that they can extend themselves? You know what I'm saying? Instead of having to importing things from those countries, why would you want to be importing food that you could grow for yourself? And Jamaica is big enough and fertile enough.
Brother Akram, we're talking about caring. We're talking about caring, carers, and caring society, and the like Alzheimer's, dementia. That's a subject that we're talking about at this time.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, again, as I said, I look at that as the same thing again. I mean, the factor is, I'm saying, why don't we also, in the UK, we can do that in the UK, create our own situation for looking after, well, not just our people, but for whatever, because there's a big, because I had the situation with my mother and so forth, there's a big room for caring and for caring companies. You know what I'm saying? And we need to set up our own caring company in order, not just caring companies, but also for child care as well. Even for child care, there's big room there for all people to take over. If we can only just swing it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna because I think the doctor wants me inside now, so I'm going to leave it. But yeah, as I said, that is something I've been thinking about all the time. That those are avenues that we can create jobs for ourselves and things like that.
Definitely, because like even as you speak that now, yeah, I could probably point to at least 5 people that I know could use the care, and also like the respites as well. You know, these are things that that a lot of us could do with as well. Yeah. So it's a case of like, getting up and doing it ourselves. And do you need experience? It's in some cases yes, right? But it's not that is beyond the capability of most of us, right? So we have to look to extend ourselves, probably push ourselves to learn new skills, right? To facilitate for those type of things. I know that in the UK there's a lot of regulations that are probably required as well. But unfortunately, they don't really impose those upon the households of where people are being cared. you know, they don't know. It's not like they go around to the home and they said, "Oh, it's not within regulations, so we'll fix it up for you and make it happen." You know, it's a case of if they can get away with it, they just let you get on with it until there's a problem or a situation that occurs. You know, do you find that in this also in Jamaica? Is it self?
So,
Is it self?
so those that can, in terms of family wise, they do it. They do have homes set up, the quality of the home, and I don't know. So for me, there is a mode of transport this side of town, and that mode of transport says that we will find space as long as you once the vehicle's moving, we'll find space, and you'll find space, and you'll find a natural piece of the seat. And I know in the home that I've been in, it appeared crowded. So I don't know whether or not that's a reflection of all the homes, or that's a reflection of what that home is able to provide or not provide. But it's just interesting the fact that for me, from a space point of view in the UK, there would, if the home is set up, it's going to be one person in a room, one single bed in a room. But in Jamaica, you can have 2 or 3 single beds in the same room because they are making best use of the space. But like I said, there's only one home that I've gone into. But from a regulations point of view, they will turn around and say they are regulated. Sorry, there's 2 homes I've been into. They would say that they are regulated and that they have some form of guidance from the government in terms of how the elder is meant to be treated in that respect. But it's those homes are very expensive. They're expensive anyway in the UK, but they're just as expensive in Jamaica. And whereas you may be able to support your elder, or they have their funds, in Jamaica, it's not the same, because they've not had the same standard of living, so they've not got the pension in the same way that can potentially help. And then you've not got the support from the state, from the government, from a subsidy point of view. So the UK, they will say that they'll subsidise some, or the local council will say that they'll subsidise if you've not got the income, or you've not got the savings, or you've not got a house. But in Jamaica, the subsidy is not the same. So that could be one of the reasons why they put so many people in a room, because they're just making best use of the resources that they have, and or those who can pay will pay, but there's not as many of those who are able to do so. So they tend to look after their elder within the family as best they can. And I know years ago, probably 10 years, must be about 10 years now, whereby my aunt was being cared for by her son, and I thought it was pretty harsh what he was doing. They justified it. Now, with the hindsight and the knowledge I have, is it harsh? There's elements of it that was, but they were doing the best they can with what they had, and that was just in terms of locking their mother into the room, and the mother was conscious enough to be crying for help and asking for help, and no one, they'd gone out for the day. So my reasoning is, if you're going to go out, then, and there's two of you, and one works, then you need to either do it as a tag team or get someone else in. Or if you're going to go out, you're not going out for the whole day, the two of you, and just leaving some food and just assuming then that your elder's going to know to pour it out and eat, and when to eat. And there would have been medication that would needed to have been taken. And if you've gone out all day and the medication is not taken as per the instructions, this is a different conversation from a medication point of view, but if it's not been taken as per the instructions, will the illness be slowed down, or will it progress rapidly?
Yeah.
So those were the things that, and I know when my mother went down there, she was horrified of how her sister was being treated. And she went down there in the evening, which meant her sister had been in that situation all day. And literally when my mum got there, her nephew and his partner, wife, just literally came back within half hour or so. So it was, and they said they'd been out all day, they needed to go out, yada yada. But put provisions in place. You were working, both of you were working. Get a carer. You could afford it. They could have afforded it. Or like I said, we just don't both go out at the same time, or we only go out, spend time an hour, and we come back. Medication time, middle of the day. Let's make sure someone's back in the yard at that point.
Exactly.
And then we go out again. You got to think within and outside of the box in order to get that to achieve that happy medium. And that's the thing. How do we achieve that happy medium?
Yep. It's definitely a thing that we have to keep in mind as well, right? And it's not a case of that we're holding people accountable. It's like that some of us can become complacent, right? Day in, day out, with no end in sight, can be disheartening. It can be disheartening, right? It can be soul destroying because it's relentless. You know, as I said, you know, some of us need that respite. Some of us have been able to cope or manage, right? Some of us have not. Some of us have not been able to cope or manage, you know, because I've had individuals who have called me and actually been in tears. They've been literally in tears in the I'll just say, like they say, I physically cannot carry on. I don't know how I can carry on. You know, and you know, things like that happens. You know, husbands, wives, children as well. I'm sorry, we haven't mentioned those children as carers. Right? I mean, when I say children, I mean literally school children who are there, who are looking to the welfare of their parents. Yeah. You know, these things are some of the things we have to look at, and we have to be real in our conversation around it as well. Yeah. Leave it. I call it. I'm gonna have to just say it as it is, right? I'm just gonna have to say it as it is. It would appear that there's a selfishness amongst brothers and sisters when it comes to who's caring for their parent, right? And the reason why I say selfishness is the fact that, you know, yes, some of us are in jobs that are extremely time consuming. And then there's others, as you stated earlier on, who's got the family requirements, right? They've got their own husband, they've got their husbands, they've got their wives, right, or partners. And you know, how do you share the time with caring for? But the thing is that we have to be willing. We have to be willing to allow, like if it's a family member, it could even be somebody that we know that we said, you know what, allow me to help you. If we know that person even, but we have to be willing to say, like, you know, if my partner is in that caring mode with somebody or for somebody, then we have to play our part. So in a sense of that, we have to allow them the space and support them through it as well, right? Experience, what comes to mind is when a parent is ill, extremely ill, right? And then they need that care. They need that care, time care. Yeah. You know, sometimes that your partner would need to be away for a week, a month to facilitate that, you know? But we have to be aware of what our impact is as well and what role we play. Are we supporting them through that as well? Right? We might not be doing the hands-on like how they are, but we can just be reassuring them that they have your blessing to go and do that. Instead of oh, you're off again, right? Why do you do so much? You know, we have to have that out. We have to be aware of what we're saying, right? And how it might. And don't get me wrong, it does impact on us. It does impact on us being that partner, husband, wife, who's 1 degree separated from, you know, right? So, you know, in that way there, but we have to be aware of the impact that it does have on us, you know? And not to make that person feel guilty, but at the same time, share what's happening to you as well, right? And then try to talk it through or to rearrange or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Because, you know, it does has its impact. It does has its impact in that way. Yeah. Definitely. Anyhow, let's go into our midday meditation this strong.
Okay.
Right? This strong here, I want to give a bit of a guided meditation. Now, this one of my mentors, right? For a long time, Joseph McClendon III. Right? I don't know if you're familiar with him. Are you familiar with him, Sister Sandra? No? Okay then. No, actually, no, sorry. That's the ancestral voices. This one is Michael Bernard Beckwith. Right? Again, you're not familiar? You see? I still have some gems at my pocket. Elia, without further ado, I would like to bring into this Strong's meditation. This is a guided meditation. This is a guided meditation, this Strong. As I say, you can review us on the Blacknififcent show on the YouTube, right? And also on the Facebook live as it is right now. Okay, so you're more than welcome to join us on there. Also, if you want to review some of the material that I'm sharing, where it's available, I've compiled a list, and if you just put in Blacknififcent Radio Show on there, you can see all the lists with all my well, I say all, most of the information, or most of the clips that I've actually collated, right, from there, unless I've sourced them from somewhere else outside of there. Okay. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to you Michael Bernard Bedford on the midday meditation.
Take a nice inhalation. You don't have to look at me right now, just listen to my voice. And be aware that your body is breathing. And I want you to become aware at this precise moment that you are right where your body is. Your body's breathing and you're right here with your body. Give yourself permission to be aware that you are not your body. That your body is in your field of awareness. Your real identity is you are an eternal being, timeless in nature, and you are pure awareness. You are aware of your body, your physical body. You may even be aware now of your mental body and thoughts that may be emanating from you. Now, give yourself permission to lift up and out and look at your body. Look at yourself sitting in that chair. If that seems a difficult task for some, imagine it. Use your imagination. Come out of the body consciousness and look at the body. Look at you sitting there. And be aware that that body is not you. It is your instrument. It is your vehicle. Just as you are not your car is your instrument. It's a vehicle for mobility. Your body, temple, is the temple of the living God, which you are. Awareness itself, an eternal being. Your body temple is an instrument. It's an instrument for mobility, creativity, expression of love, generosity, innovativeness, and so much more. It allows you to be in this dimension and to be visible in this dimension. But there's something beyond the body, and that's you. This awareness is you. You are aware, and you are awareness. I want you to, as you are being aware of the body, but you're now being keenly aware that you are awareness, See if you can scan your life from the time that you were an infant up to the present moment, and see if there were any instances of you breaking free from time and limited identity. You became aware that you were connected with life. You had full awareness that you were aware. It could be a moment where you were at the beach and suddenly looking at the waves, the ocean, the grains of sand. You became aware that you were way more than your body. You were way more than where you were born. You were way more than the schools you went to. You were you. Or perhaps you were walking in a forest. Or perhaps you were on a boat out on the ocean. Or perhaps it was a rainy day and you were walking down the street and you suddenly became aware of Mother Nature. Or you were reading a book of poetry or some scripture. And suddenly you were way more than body, way more than emotional body, way more than mental body. You were you. More than your parents' offspring, more than the schools you went to. You became aware of your identity, free, unencumbered. If you can recall such a moment, recollect it. Bring it back right now. That was an aha moment. That was a mini Satori moment, an insightful moment, a grace note from the divine, a tap on your shoulder reminding you that you are more than all of this, all of the world of phenomena. You are more than all of that. So rocks, you're with me. Fantastic voyage, you're with us. This is the beginning of a superpower. To know who you are, to know what you are, to know when you are, to know why you are, to know where you are. We will cover the who, the what, the when, the why, the where in our class. But right now you're catching it. Your superpower of you being pure awareness puts you in a position of making choices, not from fear or worry, but choices from your expanded awareness. With real identification with your real nature, choice rather than reaction becomes where you live. Choice rather than defense or coping becomes where you live. Take a deep breath. Sustain at the apex, right at the top of that breath, just sustain the breath. Some would say hold the breath. I'm not saying hold it, I'm saying just sustain it right there. And give yourself permission to feel better than you've ever felt in your most recent memory. You're not bogged down by circumstance. You're not bogged down by the latest fear, the latest worry, the latest concern that that's moving through society right now. No, you are free. Your superpower of real identity is activated. Breathe into that again. Sustain at the apex. Release with the sound of ah, ah. Open your eyes. Today's superpower is your real identification, your real ID, pure awareness, your eternal nature, the forever you, the unique expression of infinite potential. I challenge you until we meet again tomorrow to just stop throughout the course of your day. You feel a little anxiety coming on, a little worry, or even if you don't, just stop, take a breath, close your eyes, and remember any moment in your life where you were not caught up in time, but the eternal had your heart. You were identified with something beyond the body and beyond the imprint of the mind. And then choose in that moment to be in joy. Choose to feel that all of your needs are met. Choose to feel that you are safe. And then that superpower will grow. And you will continue to reflect and to reveal the joy that is beyond what the world can give you. This is what I know for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Outside, away outside. On the ground with the big bad sun. Headphones to the plane ride. Fresh herb when the plane touch down. Living the dream in a real life. Bright lights in a brand new town. Oh. Step away from the madness. Cause the youths nowadays don't play. Watch the government badness. Blue suit, them feel the same way. If you seen what I've been through, in the land where the good die young. My garden is so fresh. My family is so blessed. My dreams progress. I'm faithful, oh yes. My actions speak so loud. To me team, make mama very proud. Now we been through the worst, no doubt. Now we come to do it from humble beginnings. Now we come to do it from humble beginnings.
Give me in Samra from the humblest of places we are trapped from down. How we say where we are come from. Victory over my side. I live but mine by the wayside. Where them feel like yo we outside. And nothing at all, no we no need I. Judge how we call upon your name. Pray you learn to all our days. When it gets dark, we know you'll always make a way. I never remember girl a real top ranking. Pull up on the whole place jumping. Pretty man and the baseline thumping. Nobody feel like this a from push something. Yeah, we going all the way. Put love in this music that we play. Words sound and power, that's the order of the day. Yeah, hey, and my garden is so fresh. My family is so blessed. Hard work brings progress. I'm grateful, oh yes. My actions speak so loud. Do me thing, Christian, I will proud. Now we've been through the worst, no doubt. And now we're going to do this from humble beginnings, yeah.
You come by my life forever inside. Sing it to me again, come on. Let me up, say forever inside. You come by my side forever inside. And my garden is so fresh. My family is so blessed. Hard work brings progress. I'm grateful, oh yes.
And my actions speak so loud. But do me thing, make mama well proud. Now we've been through the worst, no doubt. Now we counting, counting. My God, so great. My family is so blessed. Hard work brings progress. And I'm grateful, oh yes.
My actions speak so loud. Do me thing, make mama well proud. Now we've been through the worst, no doubt. Now we counting the wins from humble beginnings.
In tune to the midday meditation here
Now
on the
we counting
Galaxy
the winnings
of
from humble beginnings.
feedwe.net on the Blacknificent Radio Show.
Puff, puff. The talk. I heard me talk about the nation, you know? Watch this. Spreading my light up and pass me a cup. You know what I think? Yo! Me no on the herb, me only drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. Me no smoke the split, me only make it in a tea. Me no say it's good for me. Bang it down. Me no smoke the herb, me only drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. Drink it in a tea. Me no on the split, me only drink it as a tea. Me no say it's good for me. So give me the tampy, give me the colic, give me the sensimania. Me no cure if it come from California. Give me the Buddha, give me the Titan, or the one in the car. The best thing them say come from Jamaica. Give me the hydro, give me the skunk, give me the Colombian weed. But don't on the seed, you will kill out the breed. Me virgin out a road, them love light it up, but me love my herb in a me cup. Me no on the herb, me only drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. Me no smoke the split, me only make it in a tea. Me no say it's good for me. Bang it down. Me no smoke the herb, me only drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. Drink it in a tea. Me no on the split, me only drink it as a tea. Me no say it's good for me. Go on for no. How would them? Hit them too. Give me the weed, it all go cause a problem. Yo. How would them? Mr. Sis with a weed and kill. So on the just dig up the farmer, who's the planter? Dig up the man, them out a road, who's the ganja smuggler? Dig up the man, them with the stick, who a make them dollar. Most of all, you have to dig up all the ganja smoker. From you know you love the weed, just push up your lighter. I roll an next roll in your damn whistle. Puff, 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 the one informer. And blaze it, ganja forever. Me no on the herb, me only drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. Me no smoke the split, me only make it in a tea. Me no say it's good for me. Bang it down. Me no smoke the herb, me only drink it in a tea. I drink it in a tea. Drink it in a tea. Me no on the split, me only drink it as a tea. Me no say it's good for me. So give me the topic, give me the colic, give me the sensimania. Me no cure if it come from California. Give me the Buddha, give me the Titan, or the one in the car. The best thing that they come from Jamaica.
Umamais, one more as we move through this afternoon's midday meditation here on the Galaxy of Feedwe.net on the Blacknififcent Radio Show. Yeah.
I'm a revolutionary away from there. I'm not deep with capitalism or Rastaman. I'm a revolutionary away from there. I'm not deep with capitalism or repatriate. These are the times when chains are pulled from Israel feet. I'm wondering why we not gonna live in peace. You better open your eyes and fight for your rights, or you will die. I'm gonna leave my tribe of Israelites and fight for their rights. That's why they say I'm a revolutionist, I'm a Rastaman. capital away from them. Revolutionist, I go repatriate. I'm not deal with capitalists. Lord, Lord, we are Jaya children, we are Israelites. We passing through people like the Pharisees. We can shop there to preach the gospel of Jaja, for it's not right. We're gonna have to fight for many day and night, but it's alright. I think we're going to the land that's promised land called Africa. That's where I'm a revolutionist, that's what them say. But I'm not deal with no capitalist, I'm a Rastaman. Revolutionist, a repatriate. Capitalist, a righteous man. I'm a revolutionist, a revolutionist. I'm no capitalist. Lord.
As we move into our
today, I'm super excited to share with you. You know, oftentimes I will have guests on, but I'll be your guest today. And also, I wanted to remind you, you may have been a long-time listener to The Cure for the Common Life, which has been the name of this podcast up until now. But we have chosen, for obvious reasons, to rebrand it. So now that same podcast is Further Faster. And again, we did this for a couple reasons. Number one, it is one of my brands. But number two, whenever I ask, and when I talk to people, I ask, do you want what you want sooner rather than later? The answer is always a resounding yes. And that doesn't mean that you don't get to have the patience and going through things like that. That's great. And if you choose to go further faster, you've come to the right place. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, like I said, I'm Joseph McClendon III. And my background, kind of what qualifies me to be yakking at you this way, is by profession, I am a neuropsychologist. I have a doctorate in clinical neuropsychology, and I've helped people get over fears and phobias and emotional challenges for a very, very long time. But by trade, I'm what's known as an ultimate performance specialist, kind of a high-end life coach, if you will. I have the privilege of working with many, many Academy Award-winning movie stars and Grammy-winning musicians and major sports figures and millionaires and billionaires and everything in between, and the list goes on and on. And I share that with you not to brag or to boast, but just kind of what qualifies me to be talking to you about what we talk about. And today, I'm going to talk about something that pertains to everybody. And that is your own health and wellness. And an underlying benefit in all of this is to maintain your youthfulness as well. And so, as usual, I'm not going to be just telling you something. Even when I have guests, we're not going to just be sharing with you information, because our belief around here is knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power, and knowledge is not going to help you go further faster. We all know things, but we don't always do what we know. So to remedy that, I'm going to give you things to do that you can produce something, because it is activity that always is going to produce the results. And in this case, produce results of your health and your well-being, and more specifically, your youthfulness as well. And so I'm always going to ask you to take some notes so that you can go back and at the end of the show, I'm also going to give you some action items that you can do. And so for starters, the reason I chose to do this on my own versus having a guest is because of my background in this subject of health. Along with the things that I said with regard to helping people get over fears and phobias and emotional challenges, I also am a ambassador of health and wellness. I had a health retreat, actually a couple of them, one in Marbella, Spain, and one in Geneva, Switzerland, for several years before COVID, where I help people come in and bring them in for 5 to 7 days. And the only food that they got to eat was what I gave them. The only movement that they got to move was what I gave them. And in just a very few days, there were some remarkable changes. And the best part about it is those people leave those retreats and leave that experience, for lack of a better term, and maintain it as well. So I want to share some of that with you today. But I also want to give you some background with regard to why I chose to do this today at this time in history. Two things happened to me. One of them was, it's one thing that continually happens to me. I just did a live event in Florida. I think there was about probably 15, 16,000 people. It was some live and also virtual. And when I leave, my social media always blows up. I always get this question asked, or when people stop me on the street or whatever, and they always go, Joseph, what are you doing? Because, by the way, one of those days that I do at that event is a health event. And people go, what are you doing? You got to tell us what you're doing because you look good. Now, by the way, let me pre-frame this by saying something. I'm going to use myself as an example in this, but not because I'm suggesting this is something you should be. I'm just suggesting that this is a possibility for you as well. So at the risk of sounding arrogant, if you're watching me, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll run you around and give you, those of you that are listening, I'm running the camera around the studio so they can see me here. And so when I tell you this, when people would ask me, Joseph, what are you doing? The reason they're asking me this question is in exactly 3 months from 3 days ago, I will be 69 years old. And if you're looking at me, and again, I hope this doesn't sound too arrogant, but again, I think it's going to be necessary for what we're going to be talking about here. I obviously don't look my age, and as you can tell so far, I don't act my age. I don't feel my age as well. And so that is one of the big reasons, because I just keep getting bombarded with that. So I wanted to share with you some of those reasons why, because as we said before, this further faster is about being wealthy, and wealthy means to be healthy, happy, and financially abundant as well. The second thing that happened to me was I went to an event with some friends that I hadn't seen for over 20 years. And when I got there, I saw these young men. I call them young because they're my age. They're younger than me. And they looked much, much older than me. And they were kind of coming out of their skin going, dude, we haven't seen you for a while. What are you doing? What are you doing? And so I thought about that, and I thought, okay, well, because to answer that question, I would go into normally, okay, well, here's the things that I adhere to and have for most of my life. And you might want to write this down. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the thoughts we think, the moves we make, and the words we speak. And if you notice, that rhymes. I made it that way so it does. Air we breathe, water we drink, food we eat, thoughts we think, moves we make, words we speak. Now, if you present that to somebody, and as I said before, that is a 5 to 7 day seminar that I can do on each one of those topics. And so I thought to myself, what is something that I can give to people, that I can share with people and give them something to do that they can really kind of cut to the chase, and all of those things start to happen naturally. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And so again, grab a pad and paper if you haven't already, because I'm going to give you a really, really quick physiology lesson, if you will, on how we function as human beings, how our bodies work, what we need, and what keeps us looking youthful. And so if my youthful looks didn't get you, my energy should. I sleep and have slept basically 4 to 5 hours a night for well over 35 years now. I actually have, I shouldn't say I don't get them. I have not suffered the consequences, if you will, of any dis-ease for the past 35 years. And that does include COVID. And I say it doesn't mean that I haven't caught it, because I found out, I did a COVID testing. And although I never suffered the symptoms, and I was what's labeled as one of those people that's asymptomatic, but I did have the antibodies. So they said, Joseph, you had it, but you never noticed it. And the reason I share all that with you is my personal belief is that your body knows what to do to heal itself. And so if I can help you get your body in that stable datum or that ideal place, or as close to it as possible, then it'll do what it needs to do to heal itself. And obviously, like I said, I look and act younger. And that's what most people want as well, because along with that, the youthful looks, for lack of a better term, comes more energy, comes more health, comes a better immune system, and all around well-being. And that includes your attitude and your disposition and your happiness. And happy people are healthier. Happy people earn more money. Happy people are happier. So having said all of that, I want to break down, I want to give you just a really, really quick health lesson. I'm going to kind of jump, and this is going to be super, super basic. If you're a physician, you're going to be going, well, listen, you're leaving out this, you're leaving out that. Yes, I am going to be leaving out some things, but I want to make this short enough that everybody can get the big nuggets. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about what the body needs and how it functions and how you can use that information to get the very best out of yourself. And I want you to look at it this way. We'll start here, and that is that every single thing, every living thing on this planet is consistent of what are called cells. You know, blood cells, you got skin cells, you got hair cells, everything are cells. And those cells are designed to do these two things: create compounds and duplicate themselves. And when I say create compounds, I mean saliva and blood and lymph fluid and all of these things. And those compounds are what do the job. If your liver does what it needs to do, it is the compounds, the solutions, the things that liver makes that breaks down the food and does that. The same with your body, the same with everything. And so if your cells do not have what they need to perform those duties, duplicate themselves, and or make those compounds, and again, this is oversimplistic, then those cells are going to go into what's called survival mode. Now, what those cells need is something called nutrients. Now, stay with me on this, because you might be going, oh, this is obvious. I know this. I've heard this before, but maybe you don't know this. What are nutrients? Nutrients are the building blocks. Nutrients are the substances found in food that the cells use to create those compounds, i.e., when somebody is suffering from, let's say, lack of calcium in their system, one might think, well, go out and eat chalk, or just drink milk, or just that, and you get the calcium in your system. That's not the way that it works. Your body needs the nutrients from whatever the plant or the animal that it's eating to break that food down and turn it into the calcium that your body needs. And this is IE and across the board with everything. Whether you're iron deficient, it doesn't mean go out and eat, a bunch of steel or iron. It means eat the foods that have the nutrients in it, so your blood can, or your body, your cells can turn it into the iron that your body can utilize. Now, having said that, the body needs up to 114 different nutrients every single day in order for the body to do what it does. If it doesn't get them, now let me repeat myself, it needs up to 114 different nutrients every single day. It's not some days, not most of the days, every day, in order for those cells to perform their duties. And if they don't get it, here's where we start to turn the corner, ladies and gentlemen. If they don't get those nutrients, they will go into survival mode, which means every living thing on the planet is going to do whatever it takes to keep on living. So they're going to go get those nutrients from somewhere. And the only storehouses that our bodies have are our organs and our bones. Like I said, here's where we turn the corner. And so what that means is that your cells are going to leach those nutrients from those vital organs and those bones. The biggest organ that you have is your skin. You've heard this before. So all of this to say that aging is not an outside job. It's not the weathering. It's not just you getting age. And by the way, you can't see it, but I do have some gray hairs. It's on my temples here. I have, there are some things that are going to happen. Again, you definitely can slow down that process. And again, I say this not to brag or to boast, but I use myself as an example of what's possible. And so aging is an inside job. It comes from the inside, but it's not just the looks that are happening. It is going to tax your energy. It's going to tax your ability to do different things throughout your life. It's going to tax your memory. It's going to tax everything that you have going on, because that's the way the body works. Have you ever noticed before that whenever you are tired, or whenever you are you don't have the energy, you also can't think as well? You're lethargic and your thoughts don't come to you as quickly as possible. Well, there's a reason for that. Number one, your brain operates, and by the way, let me back up for a second. Remember I said in the very beginning, the air we breathe, I consider that a nutrient as well, because your body, your cells need air. If you don't have the oxygen that you need, then the brain is going to it's going to do what every other organ does. If it doesn't have what it needs, the nutrients that it needs, then it's going to do what every other organ does. If it doesn't have it, it's going to leach. But the other thing, it's going to conserve its energy. And that is why your thoughts, especially people that worry a lot and so on and so forth, your thoughts become the same thoughts over and over again, and we can't think as well. So having said all of that, the solution to all of this, and I'm going to tell you what to do here in just a moment, but the solution to all of this, the really quick solution to cut to the chase to get all of that stuff is this. We all have a balance of what's called acid and alkaline in our bloodstream. Our blood, if people are going to say, what's the difference between you, Joseph, and somebody that is your same age, those gentlemen that you met a few weeks ago that are your same age, but they don't look, act, or feel like you do, I would say this, that my blood is different. My blood is different than theirs. I have the same type of blood, the same things that go on, but my blood is different because the blood is the river of life. And when I say that, my cells, in order for them, now obviously I'm going to suggest that you eat organic and you eat vegetables and fruits and things like that. But what happens to people is they don't crave those things. They crave the things that are not good for us. And so because my blood is different, let's take a look at the difference in blood. What is blood that supports that immune system, that supports those cells doing what they want? And that is, we have a balance of alkaline and acid in our blood. Basically, it's about a 60-40 division, 60% alkaline and 40% acid. Anything, if it goes 6% either way, it'll kill you. You get too much acid, it'll kill you. You get too much alkaline, it'll kill you. So the body, the cells are always trying to keep that balance going on. And again, that is why, for example, alkaline, if you can look at that as calcium is alkaline. And if the body doesn't have what it needs, if the cells don't have what it needs to keep a balance of alkaline, it's going to leach it from your bones. It's no wonder why osteoporosis and brittle bones and things like that are on a super, super high incline right now, because we eat so much acid, because so much acid is in our system. So you got to say to yourself, okay, Joseph, what do I need to do? What can I do to turn that around? Because remember what I said, we also have unbelievable cravings. If you're listening to me right now, you've probably gone through, and I was one of them, by the way. I used to be a chocoholic like crazy. And so those cravings, unless we do something about those cravings, nothing's going to happen. We're going to go back to eating. We've all done that. I'm going to do my diet tomorrow. But then there's cake. And we go, I'm going to eat cake. I'm going to eat it now, or I'll start tomorrow, or whatever. You got to ask yourself is what makes you crave and what makes you procrastinate and do the things that you don't want to do. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We all have within our bloodstreams at least these three things: parasites, yeast, and fungus. Even the healthiest of healthy, we all have it. We have good bacteria and bad bacteria. Even myself. And by the way, when I first saw this, it was the lights on for me. And don't take my word for it. You can go on YouTube and you look up phlebotomy and look at the cells. You'll see inside there that these things are going on. If you're healthy, you have a healthy immune system, which means you have white blood cells and you have things that are going on, antibodies that go around and eat up those parasites and yeast and fungus. But if you have too many of them, they're going to override the system. And too many of them means that you have an acid-rich system, acid-rich blood system. And what that means is that the foods that you're eating, the things that you're consuming, are dumping and causing your cells to produce more acid than alkaline. And remember this, there's not a dis-ease on the planet, whether it is hypertension, whether it is obesity, whether it is diabetes, whatever, cancer, whatever, all of them carry with them a high acid content in the blood, because parasites, yeast, and fungus and all of those things thrive in an acid-rich environment. So because those things are living things, guess what they want to do? Just like every other living thing, they want to keep on doing. So they're going to influence you. Look, if you poke your finger and you draw some blood, it's going to be the same as if you pull a hair out and there's blood there, which means it's in your brain. And all of those things have a consciousness that says, I want to keep on living. So that's where our cravings come from, or at least the bulk of it. meaning that you're influenced to think that way. You're influenced to keep on craving the things that are not good for us. In this case, the things that are causing us to create more acid. Now, we're going to take a break here in a moment. When I come back, I'm going to teach you exactly what to do to mitigate that and to mitigate your cravings and actually get rid of them and start to crave the other things. But what I want you to know is this. Let me reiterate all the things that are going on. We need 114 different cells or nutrients. Nutrients come from the food that we eat. Before I give you that, I want to share with you something. It doesn't matter your age right now. It doesn't matter if you're 18 years old or you're 80 years old. You can make an improvement, and a radical improvement. If you've taken all of your life to get to the health that you're at right now and you don't have great health, great energy, great youthfulness, it's going to take you a fraction of that time, especially when I tell you what to do to regain it and get on another trajectory. You know, my dad used to always say, actually, my dad and my mom used to say this saying all the time, that the best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago, but the next best time is right now. Can't cry over spilt milk. That's done. You can't change the past, but you can change how you feel about it, and you can change what happens in the future. Now, having said that, I'm going to share with you how to reduce those cravings, how to give your body what it needs so that it will start to reverse the aging process and give you more energy and more youthfulness as well. And we're going to start with going at that blood and making that blood so that it is more balanced alkaline. And so I'm going to give it to you kind of in a nutshell, and then I'll break it down. Here's what I want you to do. Stop. And by the way, I want you to just try this for 10 days. Do not drink anything that comes in a bottle, a can, or a carton, or a box, unless you put it there, unless you squeezed it in there. Nothing that comes in a can, a bottle, a box, or a carton for 10 days. And let me tell you why I do that, why I say that. It is no secret that sugar is just awful. I'm not going to go into the details again. I could spend all day on it. And if you don't believe me on it, just go look at the movie, or there's several movies. One of them is called That Sugar Movie. And it'll prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt what sugar is doing to us. It is the modern day, in my opinion, the modern day version of the most addictive. It's more addictive than they say cocaine, the most addictive substance on the planet right now. And most of us are addicted to it. But the challenge with sugar is it contributes to an unbelievable amount of acid in our bodies. And guess where most of that sugar comes from for most people? It's what we drink. It's our coffees. It is our soft drinks. It is our juices. It is even the milk that we have, even everything that we have that we're consuming. But more specifically, what we're drinking. Most people, the thing that they drink the least is just water or pure fruit juice. And I'm telling you, when I made this change in my life, and it's the suggestion that I make to other people, everything starts to clear up right away. By the way, when you start to reduce that acid in your body, guess what happens to those parasites, yeast, and fungus? Which, by the way, just so you know, they're pooping and having sex in you. Break it down. Here's what I want you to do. Stop. And by the way, I want you to just try this for 10 days. Do not drink anything that comes in a bottle, a can, or a carton, or a box, unless you put it there, unless you squeezed it in there. Nothing that comes in a can, a bottle, a box, or a carton for 10 days. And let me tell you why I do that, why I say that. It is no secret that sugar is just awful. I'm not going to go into the details again. I could spend all day on it. And if you don't believe me on it, just go look at the movie, or there's several movies. One of them is called That Sugar Movie. And it'll prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt what sugar is doing to us. It is the modern day, in my opinion, the modern day version of the most addictive.
That's Joseph McClendon III. Right? You can go and you can check that out. As I say, I've got it on the listing on the Blacknififcent radio show on the YouTube. You can check it out. You can sign up to his programs, and he does a massive series. When I say he performs and presents to thousands. Basically he's a partner, one of the partners with Anthony Robbins as well. So he's operating at that level, and I recommend that anybody who's interested in personal development and they want to make some rapid changes, he's one of those that I would recommend straight away, without any question whatsoever. Anyhow, so that's my recommendation there, right? That's our ancestral voices this strong. Look at that. And the brother, as he says, he's now he's actually 80 years old now. So he's not 79 now, so he's 80 years old. And he still looks the same. He still looks the same. But that's the gift of life. That's the gift of life that we have, and the strong possibilities of what we can actually achieve within ourselves and for ourselves, right? I'd like to give a shout out for all of those who are going through challenging times at this particular time. And I did share that one because it was a form of inspiration, right? Or aspiration. And mainly because of there are those who are going through a challenging time at the moment. They may have some form of condition that they are actually dealing with, or living with. But for whatever you're going through, we wish you all the best, right? And your thoughts, you are always in our thoughts. You are always in our thoughts, because as much as what you go through, we go through it with you as well. So for all those who are going through some challenging times right at this moment, we like to just extend our appreciation of who you are, and our support as well wherever we can. Right. Welcome back, my sister.
Welcome back. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back, family. Yes, those were interesting clips. Both of them, in terms of the meditation and having the guided meditation. I would, for myself, always think about who's guiding me. Do they think along the same lines as I do? Do they see the same things that I see? But yeah, I'll be back in a minute.
You know what? That is one of the things. That is one of the dilemmas that we have as the African community, right? Going through a course that I participated in recently, and that was one of the things that we actually faced. And I did ask the question. I did ask the question mainly because I wanted to hear what other people's opinion would be. Cautiousness, right? And also the vulnerability of being possessed, right? Now, and I say it like that because it literally is like that. That there are many of us who are still in the mode of that I could be possessed. Yeah. And when I say possessed, there are some who feel that the spirit or spirits, entities, would enter us if we put ourselves into a vulnerable state. Right? Now, obviously, this is a thing that we have to really be aware of and put it into a realistic perspective. A realistic perspective, right? A lot of the things that we actually feel that we are vulnerable to is a lot of things are our own imagination of our own illusion. To go into meditative state or trance state, right, means that you are allowing yourself to be more connected with your subconscious. In other words, if I put it into the layman's term, you're allowing yourself to be asleep while awake. Yeah? And it's not no trick business. It's not no trick thing. But there are those who really do believe that that possession of the body could take place. Right? Now, we as African spiritual connected people, when we go into this journey of looking and studying about our connectivity with our spirituality, we are opening the doors. We do open the doors to our vulnerability of receptivity of learning, right? If we wish to, we can express as well. And in our expression, we could be free spirited or in an inquisitive way of asking questions or just being expressive, right? There's so many of us who do not realize that we put ourselves into this state anyway. Where you for me? Yeah. Sister Sarge teasing. He is what that just dropped from the tree, innit?
Just speak. Just speak.
She's teasing with this Aki, fresh Aki, drop from the tree here, Axton. You see how you stayed up there? Yeah. Yeah. So have a bag full of Aki there.
There to be picked as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I allowed you to lose your flow.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we as African descendants, African original people, we look into this thing mainly because it is a real connection that we are looking at, right? We're very aware of our connectivity that it can create between one and ones as we move and stand together and we are in the same vicinity together. We are very aware of the power that we actually can possess with that, right? If you are all attuned together and you move in unison or work in unison in one purposeful force, right? There can be literal movements that can be attained if you come together of all of you thinking and moving in the same manner, right? Also the trance state that some of us do experience. The trance state is experienced when we are, for instance, watching television. We're watching television and we don't even hear the telephone ring. We don't hear the doorbell ring. We don't even acknowledge or appear to acknowledge a person walking into the room who's sitting down beside us. Why? Because we are in that trance state. But at any stage, at any time, you can bring yourself back to the conscious, to the present. And this is the journey, what many of us do experience on a regular basis, but we're just not aware of it. So, you know, for is to make some clarification on the statement which you said, that the person you're aware or aware of the vulnerability of the person that is taking you through this guidance.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do appreciate what you said there as well. Hence, that's why I am selective of who I bring into those type of arenas. And as I've stated before, I wouldn't do a guided meditation myself, right? Mainly because I like to be in the presence of the person who's actually experiencing it, right? And if they do go into that trance state or hypnotic state, right, I would be able to guide them through it. Yeah. Whereas if they go into a trance state or a hypnotic state while listening to me now on the radio, right, then that would be wrong. Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, that's why I gave them a part of the segment of that guided meditation there. Right?
Yeah. It makes sense. And I've listened to someone recently talking about hypnotism, being hypnotized. They would never be, in the past, they would never think about wanting to be hypnotized. And the person they were speaking to said meditation is a form of hypnotism. As you just mentioned there, in terms of watching the television and not noticing someone, the phone ringing. But sometimes you might think, I'm so into the movie that I don't get it, or I didn't hear it, or I'm so into the program that I didn't hear it.
Exactly.
Or the doctor was talking about the drug, the sugar. But sometimes when you're listening to a movie or a program, you're so into that movie or program that that episode finishes and you want to see the next one. You want to see the next one. So I'm going to put on the headphones.
Yep. You can go right through. You could go right through the whole of the day and not even realize that the hours have just drifted away. And if you're binge watching, you know, if you're binge watching like a series of programs, yeah. If you're watching a series of programs,
You look up and all of a sudden you think, where's those 3 hours gone? Well, you know where they've gone because you've been sitting down there. But it's just what can happen in between. So we know that children very open. This time of year, they're going to be coming and saying they would like, or they want, or can you buy me A, B, or C, because it being in the holiday season. Some of the presents they would have wanted because it's something they've desired. Others, there's the advert, that within that advert there's other little words that are suggestions which are said. And the same goes with adults when we're watching our programs, and it could be a M&S ad, it could be the McDonald's ad, it could be the KFC ad, it could be any of those food ads. And before the ad, you weren't actually hungry. You didn't feel hungry. By the end of the ad or the end of that segment, all of a sudden you want to get onto your Uber Eats, or you want to take a walk out there and you want to buy something, or you go and raid the kitchen, the fridge, the freezer, or whatever. So it happens in different guises. So in my understanding, my humble opinion, in terms of from a meditation point of view, like I said, always be mindful of, but meditation and hypnosis are different sides of the same coin.
It's basically, if I break it down for you, it's different levels of connectivity, right? Meditation is a form, as you could determine it as a form of hypnosis, right? But it's it can even go to such an extent that you do actually hypnotize yourself. Right? Hypnotherapy, though, will take you into a deeper form of meditation. And because it takes you into that deeper form of meditation, and then you are guided through like whatever your scenarios are, right? You will be able to say, "Oh, I've given you you the permission to take me through that." Yeah. But it's not a case of that you would go into there and then you would be caught into that trance state by some kind of like entity within that. So it's one of those things that, and a lot of these things that happen like that, right, is usually something that is self-imposed anyway, right? It's like a phobia. Yeah. So
You don't like flying, so you ask, for example, you don't like flying, so you go to someone specifically to help you get over that fear of flying and being in a hypnotized state.
That's
maybe
right.
part of that journey.
Yeah. Phobias and things like this, you know that a lot of it is just in your mind. Yeah. Things that we've enforced over a period of time, and then it becomes a fear factor, and then we call it a phobia. Yeah. Are you sitting there eating the ackee right now?
I'm mindful of what the doctor had said in terms of the ancestral voices and being conscious then of what I'm putting in my system. So I like the idea in terms of don't drink anything out of a bottle unless you've effectively put it there yourself, squeezed it yourself, put it in there yourself. And I like the fact that he said very few people go with the water, even though you didn't necessarily put it in there yourself with the plastic bottle, but you're halfway there to getting rid of some of those sugars, unless you buy the flavored waters. So on Monday I'd gone up to the spring to collect my 5 gallons of water. Thoroughly enjoyed the experience because of the earthquakes, and there was a little mini earthquake in Jamaica on Tuesday. There's the cracks that was only a mere trickle, and when I say a trickle, you couldn't get any water out of that crack. Now becomes a very, it's almost like you turn on the faucet and you've got a steady stream.
Wow.
So it is just a case of just leaving my container, and it's 5 gallons, and within 5 minutes it's full.
Okay. They recently had some rainfall as well. Would that be a tribute to it?
So there's going to be an element of the additional rainfall, and so some of those that I've spoken to in terms of the area, they said yes, it's potentially the rainfall. The greater the rainfall has helped, and I don't know whether or not the shift of the odd rock here or the odd plate here has also helped to help ensure. The only way I'd know whether or not it's down to only the rainfall is next summer, going up there, visiting and seeing whether or not the flow is as strong. At the moment, the flow is really strong, and it's just beautiful because, like I said, that water is at that right temperature for drinking, regardless of what the temperature is outside. That temperature is just the right body temperature. But no, at the moment, I'm just eating some cherries that I literally just picked whilst the midday meditation was going on.
Okay.
So thinking about what I'm putting in my system. And the cherries are, some people say they're bitter. I know in the past my mother used to always enjoy them, but later on in her life, as she was getting younger, she couldn't take the sharpness of those cherries. But I find that those cherries are, yeah, it's an acquired taste, but once you've acquired it, it's definitely a taste worth investing in so much that it's appears, from my humble understanding, very alkaline, which then helps in terms of the balancing of my system. So if I've got a cold, I'm going to head for this. I actually juiced some yesterday, so I'll be drinking something out of a plastic bottle that I juiced myself.
That's good. That's good. Brilliant. And it's little things like that, right? Like what Joseph was saying, that a lot of us probably just missed that memo. But simple thing like that, if you ain't put it in there, don't drink it. Yeah. So just like juices, milks, and everything like this, so we like where we get our milk from the nuts, things like this. Right? All these type of things there, we have to really be aware of what we require, And the thing is, I think that if you do adhere to it, the differences that you do feel, you think, oh wow, have I been wasting my time all this time? Yeah. So, that's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah. Just like he says, 10 days, but you can feel the difference, and you will notice the difference if you are conscious in relation to understanding and just listening to your body and listening to the sounds it makes, and recognizing then that it may be do you feel hungry or are you hungry, and recognizing it. We've got one of those advertising going on, so I'll come off.
Oh, you got one of the passing adverts. Yes, sir. Out there. She's as our sister Sandra is there. Yeah. Then gone. Let me see. They're not gone yet. They probably park up out there now. Just our luck, isn't it? Just our luck. All right, let me just put this on, and then we'll be back in a moment. All right, here we go. Boom.
Got me thinking, God, for you. Got me telling my mama and my friends all about my daydreams of touching, holding, kissing. As I'm sweating with, came right on time. Everybody else, everyone in this song, everyone in this song, be about you. This song, be about you. Love for you. This song, be about you. Everywhere. It's gonna be this song, be about you. stress me. Times you test me. But I pass. Oh, so I promise I'm not leaving. On your forward lead. Won't try to deceive. I give my word to. I'm with them for. You're living for. Said I breathe for. I adore. No one but.
That's Graham Devon. Graham Devon. Right. And that's called You. Yeah. Yeah. They can sing them song there. But I can't get to them height. That's all. I can't get to them height with their top of tune there. All right, let me just take this one down. All right, here I am. Yes. Yeah, so we have our health element and the mind at this particular time, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because we're coming up to that season. And when we come up to that season, everything is a last minute, oh, next year I'm going to do this and da. But if we put it into our mind before the holiday season, and we could prepare ourselves even more better, because if we don't prepare ourselves, then we're going to go in there and we're going to lose our momentum and our conviction to being healthy and chasing people. We're going to be chasing people. Yeah, we're going to change our mind, and we're just going to be chasing ourselves all over again. You know, which is crazy. Which is crazy. You know, how many times have we as we press the reset button? I know I've done it many a time. Many a time, you know. But it doesn't harm. It doesn't harm to know the facts, so that when we know that we need to do something, we have the information there. So that's why we covered that this strong on the ancestral voices, right? And as I said, they're available on the Blacknififcent radio show on YouTube, right? So if you go on there, they'll be listed, right? And also, Joseph McClendon has his own YouTube and business as well. Very, very successful business. And when I say global notoriety, I mean global notoriety. Yes, sir. He moves thousands. Let's put it that way. He moves thousands when he comes to do his what they call it? What they call them now? What do they call them now, Sister Sandra? What do they call them?
I was just thinking you're thinking something a little bit more.
No, the stage, when they go up on the stage and do their presentations.
Okay.
Symposiums. Is it symposiums?
I don't know. That's not the word that would have come to my mind.
No, it's not symposium, is it? Anyhow. When they come and they come over, they're usually like in London. They're at the Excel Centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, another place there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big money people, them. Big money things. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just checking out the picture.
What's that? You're changing the record?
I don't like the ants.
Huh?
I don't like the ants.
The ants.
Yeah.
Well, they see fresh meat, innit? That's what I come for.
Well,
Fresh meat.
I ain't entertaining.
Fresh meat from foreign. That's what they come for.
So, yes, I just need to do this as quickly as possible.
Okay, no problem. Anyhow, let me just. Right, I'm just going to put up something else here. Just a moment, so as I can find it. As soon as I can find it, I'll put it up. Right, yeah. Oh, come on. You see? As you're looking, I'm looking as well.
You're thinking food rather than keeping your mind on the prize.
You know when you're hungry, and then you start suck off your tongue. Or is that when you're thirsty? Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Where are you?
I've got my tin here. I'm just going to get rid of the pods. Back in a minute.
All right then. Okay, that's our sister Sandra there. Okay. She shall return, as she says. She will be back with us. Right, lines are open on 0203-289-6504. What we're looking on is health at the moment. It's the last day of the month. I know that we was looking at excellence as well. Right? Obviously, healthy mind, healthy body, right? All in synchronization right there, sir. Yeah. So we have to really look into what we're eating the other day. I was sharing with the brothers in our meeting that there was I had bought some bananas the other day, and just opening one of them and eating the fruit inside. And I thought to myself, boy, this don't even taste like a banana. It's like it's just totally tasteless. And even the texture of the thing, it was like it wasn't ripe. It wasn't, when a banana is ripe, it wasn't ripe at all. And then I didn't even finish it. And I took the rest of them and I just said, you know what, forget this, because it just doesn't seem right that they're selling these unripened bananas, And then that sharing this with the other brothers there as well. And I think it was a few days later that I had gone down the high street again, and I saw the miniature or pig. What do you call them? Pygmy bananas or something like that. Anyhow, the smaller ones. And I'm gonna tell you now, the flavor and the texture was 10 times better than the bigger one. Them 10 times better, right? So if you're out anywhere and you see those type of fruits, we should buy them. We should definitely buy them, because those fruits there are our lifesavers. They are our lifesavers, So, be aware of what we are eating, right? And as Joseph stated there as well, make sure to say that you are eating exactly what is live for you. If you're preparing it, prepare your food. Be prepared to make your food. Prepare your own foods, because if you don't, this is they the system will continue to poison us and say, oh, this is okay. So you can eat their fried chicken, which is chemically based, right, all day long. You can do that. Right? You can do that. But what will happen is that obviously the same chemicals that they've been feeding into that they're feeding into these false fed chickens is going to be transferred to you. And then when you find that you are not functioning properly, that's the time when you're going to say, oh, why me, why me, why is this happening to me, why am I getting all this cysts, huh? Why is it that all of a sudden my joints are hurting? Yeah, so you have to be very careful. You have to be careful, and also make sure that we learn as a young person. As a young person, we learn how to cook and survive. Yeah, if you don't, this is the type of things what will happen, and it will play against you. It will work up against you. So we have to learn to be able to cook and prepare our own foods, right? And also be aware of where you're eating as well, because it's not all of us. Not all of us can take them bush and street food. Yeah.
It's and I think there's that synchronicity, because yesterday, when I was up in St. Margaret's Bay and I was talking to one of my cousins, she was talking about the same thing, because she was just reminded about where she eats, and she says she will eat at, and she just counted, and it was less than 6 people's hand. Yes, than 6 people's yard she would eat in, and she's been living here 22 years, having lived in the UK, brought up her children, etc., and come back and living over here 22 years on and off. There's 6 yards that she will eat outside of the few family that she would eat. And she says she wouldn't eat as much as the smell of whether it be the roast pork or the chicken or anything like that, smells nice in the pans that they're selling by the roadside or in the various outlets.
She'll go and graze. She'll go and graze down the whole place.
Well, she said she'll choose not to, because you don't always know from a cleanliness, from a hygiene, from a you just don't know. And it's the recognizing that if the hygiene's not there, she can't see it. In terms of running water or a clean place that's been swept and whatever, she's not gonna take the chance. But the younger we get, the more chances that we're likely to take from a food point of view and from where we eat. But that then also reflects in the type of disease that consumes our body, and that we make a conscious or unconscious decision to live with. So we'll live with the potentially with our body not working at its optimum because that burger tastes nice, or that chicken tastes nice, or the pork tastes nice, and we don't equate the fact that our body's breaking down or not able to break down the food because of what we eat and how we eat, or even the times that we eat in the day. So yeah, there was a lot in the ancestral voices that obviously you weren't able to play all, and we just encourage the Galaxy family just to do their own research, but be mindful of what they're putting into their body. Like you say, we're coming into that season whereby it be the extra mince pie, the extra piece of chicken, the extra this, the extra that, possibly not the extra Brussels sprouts, even though that's good for you. Depends on how it's cooked, let's be fair. But it's just to be mindful of.
I've avoided that question now. I'm going to avoid that question.
What question?
Roast, steamed, or boiled? See?
For me, neither.
Huh?
For me, it's neither.
Neither. Okay. Oh, you don't eat them? No?
Not the Brussels sprouts. Recognizing they're part of that family, but not the Brussels sprouts. I've not acquired that taste as yet. So the other vegetables, yeah, broccoli and callaloo and pok chow, and yeah, the others I'll eat, but not Brussels sprouts. Not with any gusto, at least.
Huh?
Not with any gusto or enthusiasm.
No. I don't mind. I don't mind that. I don't mind them myself. No. Yeah. Okay. I'll have them in various forms. In various forms. Yeah. That used to make my children go, ugh. Like they used to see it and they just turn their face. Yeah.
Yes, it's either you love them or you hate them, or there's very little in between. In some vegetables, there's an in between phase, but with that, very little in between.
What's the other one? What's the other one? Jackfruit.
Oh, I like bit messy, bit dry, but I like it. And I've recently, a couple of times, I've had it out of a tin. So it's very meaty. So I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed once where it's cooked and it was cooked, spot on. The other time it was cooked and it was just okay. They didn't. I think they'd overcooked it, but yeah, I don't mind the jackfruit.
Another fruit in it, like it's similar to breadfruit, but it's more grainier, not grainier.
Well, it's more meaty, is what I would say.
More
Whereas,
it's not as tight as breadfruit.
Yeah. Breadfruit, I would, many things you can do with it. And I was watching something on television probably about a year and a half ago, where they were saying there was just literally a restaurant in Kingston that done all things with breadfruit.
Okay.
So the logical plus the not so logical in terms of the drinks, the smoothies, the desserts, the bread. So they done all things with breadfruit. So I know sometimes when breadfruit is young, some people like to put it in soup because they like to boil their breadfruit. Other people like to wait till it's a little bit more riper in order to roast their breadfruit. But they were just literally in the full spectrum of the life of a breadfruit, using it and creating different taste sensations according to those that were at their restaurant and were speaking about the food. And a lot of them were saying that they'd never thought that you could do so much with a breadfruit. When it gets overripe, it becomes a football, not very good football, bit soggy football to be fair. But yeah, it's almost like, okay, so what do we do with it? But they've found something to do with it when it's overripe or when it's young. So like I said, anything in between. So yeah.
Or maybe one day we'll experience the culinary delights of that.
Yeah, that's somewhere that I would definitely want to go and just experience and just see the full range of what they've been able to do with the food. And jackfruit's very similar because I've not been over here and eaten it, so I don't know. And I assume they would do it possibly in the restaurants or but not in the average home, picking the jackfruit when it's young and then effectively creating your evening or lunchtime meal out of it as a substitute for meat. But they probably would have done that back in the day, but the young people are not as versed with always.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like, there's still a lot of them who are health conscious. Yeah, there are a lot of them who are health conscious. So in that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
they wouldn't turn their nose up at it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So we could encourage them to put that onto the school curriculum for the lunch.
Mm.
Jackfruit. Jackfruit. Yeah, man. Ah, yeah. Yeah, man.
Mm. Yeah, there are lots that are health conscious.
Mm, mm, mm. Right, we just got just over an hour left on the show today. The lines are open on 0203-289-6504. You're here on the Blacknififcent Radio Show with myself, Sandra, J.A., and with myself, Aston, as well, in the studio. Right? Soon come back. We'll soon return.
I come running back to you and lay it all on the line, 'cause ain't nothing left to lose. Talking about the love of a lifetime. If we pride ourselves in love, we can believe our lies. And baby, love is on the run. Girl, don't you know that you can't hide? We can find our way, babe. I need you beside me. Hear me when I say, girl, you're on my mind. You're on my mind. On my mind, on my mind, on my mind. Yeah. You're on my mind. On my mind, on my mind, on my mind. You're on my mind. And I mean it, girl. Too proud to be. When the feeling starts to burn, gotta get you out my head. Can we try to see the light of a brand new day, babe? Love will always win the fight. Come rescue me tonight, girl. We can find our way, babe. Need your loving, girl. Baby, give me when I say, girl. Hey, yeah. Girl, every hour, every minute, baby. Girl, you're on my mind, baby. And I need you here in my life. Baby, hey girl, alright, come rescue me tonight. When the feeling starts to burn, baby, I gotta get you out my head. Love, I'm thinking about your love, baby. Come get this loving, girl. I'm too proud to beg. Please, I'm just thinking about your love, baby.
This is the crescendo of that music. That's our brother Kim. So, brother Kim, you're on my mind, right there. So, right, I'm announcing them so that they don't ban my video, and I haven't got the copyrights either. So there you go. I tell you, we have to negotiate ourselves around through all of this conundrum of the media platforms as well. You know? Yeah.
I didn't catch any of that because he came back.
Oh, came back. Him no said that me there.
Yeah.
Him no said that me there. That's why. And we're there upon Galaxy, upperwe.net. Let them hear it now.
So if there's any anybody wishes, any of the family wishes to ring in, the lines are open on 0203 289 6504, or you can text in on 07947 479219. So we've spoken about a few things so far, and has any of those struck a chord with you? Do you have any thoughts, any insights, any ideas that you wish to share, or thoughts you wish to share? Please do so, whether it be on the text line or whether or not you're phoning in on the studio.
The text line is 07947 479 219. That is 07947 479 219. Right? And we're here on the Galaxy upperwe.net. Right here. So waiting for you. We're waiting for you to come in it now. Come in it now. Isn't it? Huh? We had what was I watching the other day? Not the other day. Earlier this morning while my mother was having her midnight stroll. They arrested somebody. They arrested someone who had been extradited back to America, and they're in seizure of their goods. It was over 1 billion Jamaican dollars.
So that again?
They arrested somebody, and in seizing that person's goods, right? They extradited him back to America.
Okay.
And they properties and goods came to over 1 billion Jamaican dollars. Yeah.
Okay.
And what they were saying is that, let this be a warning. On the back of that, though, was the fact that they took over I think it's 10 years to gather the information what they had done. And even with the information that they were doing, like looking at his at the process, it just seemed like they were just so disjointed about everything, to arrest this person in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? And then they brought out some law about that. Well, if they changed in the middle of the investigation, they changed the law. So therefore, what was before that investigation, they can't even use anymore. It's only what he purchased after.
Okay.
Right? So it still came to over $1 billion anyhow. So
1 million.
no,
1 billion.
billion. 1 billion. There's if my memory serves me, it was over 30 different properties that he had,
Okay.
right? Along with cars and monies as well, monies, bank accounts, and everything else. You know, so he's they obviously it was like a drug related incident, but the thing is that and this was the kicker as well. He was a ambulance driver and a ex-serving police officer as well. So
he knew the system.
Yeah, but the fact
on different levels.
Yeah, but the thing is that he obviously, right, I was doing this for a very long time. So I don't think that he's the only one involved in it.
Well, he wouldn't be. He wouldn't be.
Right. So therefore, why didn't they just dragnet the whole lot of them? Yeah.
Yeah, that's an answer to a question. If I say it's then just my opinion, so I'll hold on to my opinion in relation to that one. But it's good the fact that they did actually take him into custody and tried him for the crimes that he would have committed, even if they weren't all of the crimes, it was just some of them.
Exactly. Exactly. They what are the things, do the authorities over there really believe, right, that people who don't have a job or income of that level, right, can just produce money out of nothing?
But what I would say is that things are tightening up across many areas. So you've got those who were able to get through the loopholes because they knew the system. So back in the day, the systems weren't necessarily talking to each other. Now systems are more often than not joined up. Even in the beautiful island Jamaica, systems are joined up. But then you've also have the challenges of the laws also catching up with the systems, or the systems catching up with the laws, whereby individuals need to declare where their money is coming from. And it's not as easy to wash it as it had been in the past from a monetary point of view. So they're asking a lot more questions. Now, you may think to yourself, and I know I've gone into a bank and thought, why are you asking me $6 million questions? It's only a small amount. Or I've spoken to, again, my cousin who's going to pick up her pension, and they say, no, you can only pick up a certain amount on a weekly or monthly basis, and anything more than that, you've got to declare, yada, yada. And they can see where the money's coming from. It appears that they're making things harder. At that point, for me now, I just need to breathe and think, it's not that they're making it harder. What they're aiming to do is to cut down on the individuals who are. So before he gets to his billion, he'd already have made his millions. And before he made his millions, he'd have made his hundreds of thousands. And before the hundreds and thousands, he'd have made thousands. And so it's to catch them before they actually wreak that much havoc. So they're asking a lot more questions, whether it be in the UK and or over here and or in Americas or whatever. So sometimes it's frustrating with the questions they're asking. But if the ultimate aim is to reduce those who are coming by their proceeds by ill-gotten means, then the long term is, yeah, we need to stamp down, because if he got it through ill-gotten means in that short space of time, and 10 years relatively is a short space of time. If he got it through ill-gotten means in that short space of time, then he would have, and at that speed, there would have been a few people that would have been hurt along the way, whether or not it's drugs, or whether or not it's firearms, or whether or not it's whatever the case may be. In order to do that at that speed, you're likely to be doing something that is ill-gotten from a gain point of view. So yeah, if they crack down, myself, I just need to remember there is rationale and logic behind it.
I was gonna say, you have to remember what that where you put your money. which bank account, which one was associated with this and that?
So in my humble opinion, if I'm thinking about the lifestyle that he lived, and I was watching that Denzel, I saw a little clip of the Denzel Washington. He played that gangster in America, American Gangster. And in order to maintain that level of, to build that empire, you are a genius. But it's how do you use your talents, your time, and your treasures. So again, when I think about the young people, and I think about them in potentially some of them getting involved in gangs and getting involved in that level of violence, or getting involved in that level of entrepreneurship, which ain't necessarily legit, I think to myself, yeah, you guys are geniuses, but it's just been misdirected, because they're able to keep track mentally and or via other means of all the gain, ill-gotten or otherwise, that they've managed to acquire. They've been able to keep a leadership, it's a bit harsh in some instances, but they're able to demonstrate skills, which there are some people in organizations, if they were able to demonstrate that skill, they would keep their businesses going a lot longer. They would keep their teams going a lot longer. I'm not saying from a violent point of view, but I'm just saying in terms of understanding human nature and being able to press the right buttons to get what you want from somebody. So it's not necessarily what they achieved, it's the fact that they're wired in a way whereby they can communicate, and they can get what they want. And if you're thinking rationally, you think, why does someone else allow someone to speak to them like that? It's because of how they communicate, the way their brains are wired. So there's a lot of them that are geniuses, but they just don't, like I said, a bit misdirected.
Yeah, well, availability and opportunity. I would add into that.
Yeah.
Because like if they went to like in the Arabic places there, they'd be multi-billionaires, all of them. You know, it's like, but obviously, you know, the ethics of what they operate under is a different thing, though.
So you question the ethics, and there's lots about what they do that you would question. But the fact that they're able to get to some level of, I'll use the word power in a small p, tells you that had they just had a different teacher when they were younger, and when I say teacher, that's collectively, it could be community, it could be television, could be parent guardian, it could be school, could be family, that had a different teacher when they were younger. We've got a lot of geniuses walking up and down.
Of course.
Hell of a lot of geniuses walking
And
up and down.
this is why I'm pushing for that initial educational standard to be raised, right? And when I say standard, our requirements, you know, to really do push for that, our young people to be of degree level at the age of 16, 17. Yeah? Because like I feel that we are acting and continuously performing behind the ball at all levels, which is in my opinion very embarrassing. You know? So
yes, I hear you on that one.
You know, so yeah. But like it did bring a chuckle to my face though, because I'm thinking, all right then, the man's running like this for 10 years now. Right? And then I heard the amount of properties that they had and the amount of cars that they had. Jamaica isn't when you're operating at that level, right? Jamaica's not a big place, you know. Right.
But then if I'm getting paid to maintain the property, or I'm living in the property at a relatively reduced rate.
Exactly.
Or I'm driving a car because with having so many cars, he's probably got a man driving a taxi for him. And if the car breaks down, then he fix it and they carry on going. And they hand him some money because then that becomes clean money if it started off dirty. There's going to be a lot of people who will be participating willingly or otherwise in maintaining that lifestyle. And I say willing or otherwise because sometimes you may do it thinking, yeah, you've come across a good thing, not realizing that you've stepped into something that isn't good, and you're just taking advantage of the fact that it isn't good, and you're turning a blind eye.
And what was also highlighted in that clip, right, is how many people knew exactly what he was doing, and how he was getting his money, and obviously they're probably feeding off it as well. Yeah, because it can't be just doing something like that at that scale as just one of you. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there definitely been an army of people at different levels in the banking institutions, on the street, renting, driving the taxis, in the police force, in the tax office, an army of people in different parts of the society that will have just turned a blind eye. They would have, everyone's gotten a drink out of it, so they just allow it.
Yeah. And you know, even for that, I feel that they should just incorporate all those associated and those what allowed it as well, because obviously he's bought those properties, and I'm sure he never walked up with a bag of cash. Yeah. So in that way there, what they should do.
Oh, that's what you mean in terms of the associations. That means there'd have been a number of the bank tellers, bank manager, bank somebody, someone in those institutions. Who would have, like you said, he wouldn't have walked in with a bag of money, and he would have to justify where the money had come from. But if you've got so many cars and people are driving for you and they're earning, and you've got the taxis and the minibuses and they're driving for you, I jump in there and I'm giving them clean money. By the time at the end of the day they've got a bag of clean money, they can hand it to him, so he can justify where the money comes from. But it's just the fact of, for me, I know you mentioned the years, things are getting tighter, so will he be the last? Possibly not. But he may be the last in terms of that sizable, being able to get that large in terms of the billions. There may be other people that are millions, but maybe not billions.
Well, all I know say when they were strolling through some of the properties that were shown, well, I don't know if they were his directly, but I presume that they were similar to what he had purchased. And none, those properties weren't too shabby.
Well, none of them. And sometimes you look at the properties over here and you think to yourself, "Wow."
Yeah.
You know that they are.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
No, with some of the properties, you think to yourself, "Yeah, they are." Sometimes when people think to yourself, "Okay, and this is back in the day," and you're going to Jamaica, and they have a image of Jamaica very similar. Like when you think about Africa, and they have an image of Africa. And when you go to the capital city of Accra, you go to the capital city of Nigeria, the bits that they always show you on the TV are the ones where they're poor, they're slums, and they're walking barefoot.
Yeah.
But when you go to those cities, it's just a completely different. You think to yourself, yeah, you could be in Oxford Street 10 times over.
Easy.
You could be in Dubai 10 times over. Because of how they've built their cities. They're often following the same trademark as European cities in terms of high-rise shops, the designer shops, the everything that you could want, food-wise, clothes,
everything is
items for the home, everything.
I've got a caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sister.
Greetings. I've had a privilege to listen a little bit, and yes, quite interesting topic in and out listening. And yes, I heard you speaking about guides. Someone who guides someone. You mentioned the word guide, and
sorry, that's sister in terms of the meditation.
Yes, you were speaking on guide, GUIDE.
Oh, guided meditations.
Yeah, meditations. Yeah.
Yes. All right. It was all about meditation.
Yeah, that was about guided meditations. The reason why I don't do it, I don't do the guided meditations, right? Mainly because of the ethics of it, right? Is that I'm not able to see who is actually going through the meditation. So it's not really safe for me to actually guide anyone through a meditation.
There's a feedback coming through.
Where is it coming from?
Go ahead.
There's a second device somewhere. Okay. I think it's gone now.
So guided meditation.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Because mainly because if you go into like a trance state, I have to see that you're in that, and then I can take you out of that. Yeah. But if you're like at the end of the radio and you go into that trance state, right? I'm not seeing that you're going into that. Yeah.
So that's a new phenomenon.
No. There's no person what does meditations or hypnotherapy or anything like that will do it without the being in the presence of the person. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Or hypnotherapy or anything like that. Yeah. Mainly because of that reason, you know. So even if they say, "Oh, we can do hypnotherapy online," right? No, I would say to anybody, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree, because there's so much situations out there now. There's so much different methods. There's so much different form of wickedness an evilness that is coming around us rapidly. If you see it all around us, it's moving so fast. It's the invasion. Yes, there's a lot of invasion, in particular around the African.
Right. Even with that, because I did speak into that. I did speak into that briefly on Twitter. What it is that we as African people, right, are very connected to ourselves spiritually, right? We in fact probably go into trance and hypnotic state more often than what a lot of us realize, right? Even when we do our chanting, right? When we do our prayers, right? Also, like our connection with music, why are we so rhythmically connected, right? Because we are able to immediately associate ourselves with music and rhythms. Yeah. So even when we are listening to music, we are more connected with music than what we would say a European would be. Yeah, they might be able to imitate what we do, but a lot of us would be synchronized straight away with certain musics, certain rhythms of music. Yeah. And even with us synchronizing, it brings us into a unified hypnotic state anyway. All mild as it may be, but it still is a hypnotic trance state. Yeah. So in that way, we are very, very open. But I don't feel that we should be afraid to be open, right? The fear factor is what makes the process fearful to the extent of that other people will not want to do it. The other side of it as well is that because of the connectivity that we had prior to the religious elements demonizing a lot of our practices as being Africans, and in that culture or in the African culture, right, has put a big block on us even opening up to express it, to express ourselves, right? But as we go through time and through the process of reconnectivity, then we can see what the value of us are when we go through our rituals of possible initiation and connectivity or reconnectivity again. Yeah. So I don't think that we should not be fearing hypnotherapy or anything like that. Go ahead, Sister Sandra.
I was just going to ask the sister, because when she joined the call, she mentioned guides. So I'm not sure whether or not she was thinking guides as we were discussing it in terms of hypnotherapy, or she was talking about it on a different level. I was just going to ask her just to expand on what her understanding of, because I know I interrupted her, so I may have stopped her flow.
Well, in fact, it was during discussion of the hypnotherapy, and you were speaking about that. There was a little clip that I caught on when a brother was speaking about health. That was that little part, and then afterwards I heard about the hypnotic, I call it hypnotic processes, and then you mentioned the word guide. So through that, I thought, we have to be careful of how we see guide and or guide and different formats of guide. There is so much different factors surrounding guide, and looking at it practically and what is going on amongst us, that we can not only looking at someone who is a hypnotist using that method, but we are constantly being hypnotized, and that hypnotic behavior is in all of us. So it is that we have to be careful. And then I associate it by looking at what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And even amongst the young people,
mm-hmm.
the ones who are very domineering in terms of, and amongst elders and amongst families, you have some dominant character, forces, these are energy, and which are very crucial in the way we think, in the way we behave, and all of that is hypnotic. Words are hypnotic because the person's performing that task or skill or that action are using words and energy. What is in the spirit? There is a specific training surrounding to elevate it to a certain level, be in order or out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said, good or bad, but we are in order or we are out of order. And there is a lot of very out of order behavior among us, and we have perpetrated it. So we're looking at ourselves and looking at the God.
Yeah, yeah.
And in fact, we can simplify it, especially for the young ones. We, look at it and associate it. We have those who are groomers.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, my sister, right? I hear. I'm listening to what you're saying, right? And in the sense of like the guide, right? The person who's guiding you, right? Now, a guide will only go down a route that they know, right? They can't take you into something that you do not know. Yeah. And for anything to be effective, it has to be associated with you as a person, to take you onto a journey that you are willing to actually go down. And I will emphasize on willing to go down, right? Because what will happen is that if you don't want to be, you cannot be all of a sudden pulled into something that you cannot do, right? Mainly because you won't allow it to happen. Yeah. It's only those who are willing to allow it to happen that it will work on. Yeah. And at any time, you can pull yourself out of it as well. Yeah. But there's a lot of us who takes up this thing of that, oh, I didn't know what was going on. Right? Oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. There are those who are very susceptible to being into that trance state. Yeah. So therefore, it's not a case of that. Hypnotherapy is there to help you, right? Some of the hypnotists, like you see on the stage, and they're doing all this what they like, talking like an animal, and stuck to things and all this type of thing, right? That is hypnosis. That is hypnotism. But hypnotherapy is there to actually help you. Yeah. For instance, like if you have a phobia, you might need some form of like a hypnotherapy to help you to get over that thought or that condition. Yeah, so it's not a case of that, oh, we're gonna be there, and like as I think that you're alluding to as well, right? And I did say earlier on about like different entities that could possibly enter into you and then take over your body and things like this. Yeah, this is not what hypnotherapy allows to happen. Okay, right? And I know that is a big issue. It is a big issue because even when I was doing a course the other day, we brought this up, and all the other participants who were black on the course said exactly the same thing that I was asking of. Yeah, exactly. We black people don't do things like that. We don't play with that. And of course, most of the white people found it funny. And we said, no, it's very, very serious. Black people don't play with things like that. Yeah.
But Ashton,
yes.
I just would like to say that.
Say again, please.
What's on the thing?
Say again, please.
This is just, yes. I just would like to say there is a further underpinning of the concept of hypnotism, hypnotizing, or meditation. There's a deeper underpinning foundation, and you're just touching the surface. It's a broader, wider concept, and one has to be very careful, as you say. You wouldn't do guided hypnotizing. I've never heard of that before, but I'm not into that. I don't know. But it needs to be further researched, and it sounds that one could get in a situation where they would require help. So one needs to be safeguarded under these exercises, I call it, and it is so true, but there is a further underpinning foundation that this level of branch of what you're speaking about work sits on, because there's so many different forms of branches. Now, we are very gullible. We are very troubled. And what I am really saying is that I'm speaking particularly about among our sovereign race of people through the Mangamese, through the genocide, through the ecocide, because where we are at and the constant bombardment, it is severe. Wherever we find ourselves, it's a constant bombardment. And so we become gullible, and we become more gullible, and we become very vulnerable in so many states and forms, because we are also creating injuries to ourselves, whichever way. And so we run into seek help from others, which is even further detrimental to us. There's a high episode of suicide and mental health situation, and I don't factor it down to one thing. I factor it down, I don't factor it down to one thing. You have to have a wide thinking force of what is going on, because we are not living amongst ourselves to scrutinize what is really taking place amongst us. We can't see everything, the behaviors of people, our trust into others, and so forth. It's a serious situation. We go sit down in front of someone and they do this and they do that. We don't know what they're doing. And next thing we get caught into things that drives people crazy. I used to remember this saying.
I hear what you say. I hear what you say.
I'm just about to finish.
Yeah, go.
I used to remember this saying as a child. To be careful when you walk, don't look into people's eyes. Be careful. When they're talking to you, say, don't look at them, etc. Because they have some vibration within them that is not good. And as we grow older, and many other things, when you sit on a seat, before you do sit there, you put your hand maybe 3 slaps, or maybe some would say 7, and you have to be careful because the energy, so we are very, very, very vulnerable, and we are asking the question, and I can see so many things that is going on amongst us. And it is a dire amongst other communities too, but because we are so infiltrated, we ourselves cannot see within our own, but it's our community. And when we try to gather together, it is really hard, because we don't have the place of gathering, we don't have the permanent place where we can go and we can discuss, and the skills are shared on a regular basis. We have to hire a venue for a couple hours, and et cetera, and where we are based in England or Wales or right through Europe, we have been dismantled. So it's a very difficult situation we are in, and all I'm saying is that we must stick, regardless of our crisis that we have with each other. Let us have a quarrel amongst ourselves and try to learn with ourselves, because we go further out. The further out you go, the further you're away from the point of your Africanness. You have to know thyself. It's a serious situation. So there is not one or 2 or 3 understanding about this. There's so many factors we have to consider, and we have got to let our young people know, because they're very vulnerable. There's a lot of vulnerability out there, and we have to be very cautious, very, 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 very cautious. Do not trust. And as you say, you said we should be open, and not to be worried. I think that we must not be open. Be careful who we're open to. Nature is not that open. The Supreme Almighty Divine Creator is not that open. If they were, we would have seen them, or they would.
No, listen. I respect what you're saying. I respect what you're saying, right? But the thing is that we have to learn how to reconnect and enhance our abilities, right? Part of that process of enhancing our abilities is to go through the process of journeying, self-journeying. And even in our process of self-journeying is a reconnectivity, and to discover that ability to talk and communicate with ourselves and with others at a different plane, right? And we do this automatically anyhow, because we could get to know somebody, right? A completely different stranger, and then you come together in a relationship, and then you will come to the state of where you are, both of you, in a room, and you could literally get up, go and make that person a cup of tea, and that person would say thank you because they wanted a cup of tea. Yeah? But how would you know that that person would want a cup of tea? Yeah? And like, even when you have couples, they speak, one starts a sentence and the next one finishes. Right? That is the form of like connectivity, spiritual connectivity. Right? Sometimes you could be living in different homes, and then you get dressed to go out, and then when you come together, you're wearing the same type of outfit or similar type outfits. Yeah, you understand? So those are the type of things that we could actually enhance for ourselves, but a lot of us don't even recognize or realize that we do that automatically anyway. Right? So imagine if you knew you got those abilities, and then you enhance those abilities even more. Right? that is a level of what we should be aiming for, in my opinion, anyhow, right? Whereas probably you, my sister, who's saying, oh, we should be careful. But I'm on the other side of that. I'm going to say that I'm on the other side. But I respectfully appreciate the level of where you feel comfortable, right? But on the other side of it, I feel that we are more powerful, and we should act in that way as well at all times.
The reason why I emphasize on that, brother, is that I'm talking about, when I speak, I'm speaking from a perspective of Ubuntu.
Yeah, and very much so. Yes,
and Ubuntu is a complete understanding of the full circle. And I'm talking about the full reference as in the African sovereignty and nationhood. And inside that, we have the children. And as they grow, we have the seed that is flourishing and the different stages of the seed. I remember some time ago, a few times, Dr. Abu speak of the different ages, the age of courage, the age of different stages. And therefore, as we journey within the familyship, we're talking about Ubuntu. When I speak, I'm referencing this, so the understanding of younger persons who are listening. I'm not speaking about one relationship where someone is going in a relationship with a male and female and they're looking to have a personal relationship. I'm speaking from the perspective of the Ubuntu, so that our young people who are listening right now must be safeguarded, have a mind of safeguarding themselves when they are entering from the threshold of their home. And the parents, elders must speak that from the threshold of your home, that there is a common understanding, a common law within the home. Once you cross the threshold, there's another level of law. So I am not, when I'm expanding upon it, I'm just breaking it down to what I am thinking when I was speaking. Yes, so there's so many different levels. When you go out on the road now, after you cross your gate, the doorway, the gate, the estate, whichever, it's a different level of common law that sits out there. When you go into even the bus, there's a law, common law. When you go into the car, there's so many, every place you go, there is, and there are changes. And into the school, there, so when I'm speaking, I am speaking not from just because I'm an adult, but from the perspective of the Ubuntu, what we understand of the wider understanding of the African classic reference that we are looking and incorporating, and therefore, as we move and pattern through, we need to ensure that we are not too open. And when we speak of openness, I'm just expanding upon it, that for the young people, be very careful. So we're not going to be too open, because they're so susceptible and they're so jolly and and naive and so forth. And next thing, they end up in big situation. And I don't want to go further in terms of there's so much, because Sister Sandra was explaining about situation inside the changes in the Constitution to do with finance and banking overall, and one has got to declare this and that, and so now you can look at that trajectory to where we are now and what is involved, and so many different things. So you know that there's going to be a lot of loss, but then you can see an underpinning foundation that was set, but a lot of people did not see the underpinning foundation that now becomes what the catalyst is, what it is. And I don't
with that, I would suggest that you contact our sister Sandra, right, and then she could guide you through that. If you contact her directly, right? I don't know. Are you there, Sister Sandra? You have to unmute yourself.
Yes, I am here. I heard some of that conversation. I was just drawn away in terms of dealing with something here, which wasn't the noise, but yeah. So
yes, our sister was inquiring about the information, finance information.
Okay. Yeah. So
Right.
so she sends makes contact with me via the email, which is sandra@mindsoulsupport.com, or she can just if she reaches out, then we'll make contact and have that discussion and see how I can support you, help you, serve you.
Okay.
In any way possible.
That's good. That's good. Have you got that, my sister?
Not, I have not been able to just hearing it. Yes, I hear, but I've not been able to write it down because if I do move it, the phone is going to cut off. So I'm coming out.
Okay.
Yes.
I will give it again before we close. So we've got another 20 minutes. So I'll say it again and I'll say it slower. Just be mindful when I'm doing the wrapping up. I'll actually provide those details.
And so the community can hear this as well, which is fantastic information. However, it's been presented through my participating in what I want to say, and then the whole financial aspect of information is coming, because we do need finance. This is the whole epitome of what is going on, what we were discussing earlier, relating to your observation in the news in Jamaica, what is going on, and the catalyst that is now. But it's not that I want to get into it, because really my call today was to also share the information about the exhibition, which is at the Ornament Museum, which I call in last strong. However, it is the date, and there are different listeners. So there is an exhibition at the Ornament Museum in Forestdale, Southeast London, which is called Ode to the Ancestors. And it's been, and the curator of the exhibition, her name is Sherry Davis.
Yeah, those come to wash as well.
So it's Ode to the Ancestors, ODE to the Ancestors. And the curator is Sherry Davis, and she's been a former community action researcher. So it's on until the 3rd of December, and I think it's very important that I share this with the community. It's a young teenager who informed me of this information. So as we looked into it, and it's quite interesting, and I just wanted to share it. So it's until the 3rd of December 2023, and it's at the Ornament Museum. And I just want to mention the name of the archaeologist that's been mentioned here. His name is, let me just see, I need to read into something here. It's African Kenyan archaeologist. Sorry, let me just, I need to write, let me just see his name. The Ornament Museum. So the exhibition is, the two exhibitions commemorate the many African Kenyan archaeologists whose names are absent from archaeological archives. So it is, yes, one of the researchers, the archaeologists that they're mentioning here, name is Okoko. I hope I pronounced it correctly, but I shall spell it OKOKOASHIKOYE. So OKOKO, and the surname is spelled ASHIKOYE. And colleagues at the National Museum of Kenya. The National Museum of Kenya is called Fort Jesus, so FORTJESUS. And that exhibition is on until the 3rd of December. So very important that as much as we can spread the
next Wednesday.
information, share the information.
Monday, isn't it? Monday. Sunday's the last day.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So the learned ones can who have time and family, we're all learning, we're Sankofering, and it's there. So just spend some time, find some time to attend, and at least they could pick up on whatever information they need to, because we have been taught history and geography from the perspective of the colonizer. So here we are. It's an honor that there is an exhibition there to ode to the ancestors.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for that information there. Right. Our sister Sandra will be back, join us again. Let me add you back into the mix.
So what I will do, I would need to get off the call so that I can write down the information in Sister Sandra speak.
Okay, then great. That'll be good.
Okay, so we say Ashe to Siri, give thanks to Chief Becomber by Dr. Abu, Anawa, all those who are present, it's just family, this several sisters who are worked on their work, culture and so forth, and all the brothers, but I give honor to the time the sisters will find to share their time, because it's not easy. We have a lot of responsibility. So strength be with them and be with their brothers and all the presenters, and give thanks for this moment in time and for your presence for me to speak, Brother Aspen and Sister Sandra.
No problem. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to share the message. No?
Definitely. And even in terms of at the Horniman Museum between now and the 3rd, which is Sunday, as Brother Aston said, anyone that can take time out to go and just see and just support, because one of the things that we don't always do, we don't support our own, but we will go out there and stand in the cold, the rain, buy something in one of those shops that people don't look like us. We go to the movie and watch a movie that doesn't represent us, or we go to a museum that doesn't talk about us. So when we do get an opportunity to support our own and to learn and to journey with greater or different understanding, or just to have those conversations, let's get out there and let's support. Can you just either give the details again, or if Brother Aston's taking it, he will give the details again today in this show, and we'll also do it in our show on Friday.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much, anyhow. Thank you very much. Right. If you give out, if our sister.
So I'm going to get off the line.
Yeah. And then we'll give you a couple of minutes, and then you can get the details to get in contact with Sister Sandra. Okay.
Yeah.
Great stuff. We all be millionaires soon. We all be millionaires soon. Right. Okay then. Right. We're coming to the top of the hour, my sister. Right. Let me start off first, because it gives the sister a chance to get herself together, that she can take the call, take the information down as well. Right. We started off with declaring this strong here on the Galaxy of Fiwi.net on the Blacknififcent Radio Show. Then we came to the midday meditation. The meditation was guided through with Bernard Beckwith of the Agape Spiritual Center, right? One of my mentors and motivators for many a year. I thought that I'd share his motivation and guidance meditation this strong here with us, right? And as you know, that there are there are many ways of how we do our meditations, right? So therefore, this is just one of those persons who has helped me to discover the art of meditation in that way there. And also we had our midday meditation for a few while, and then we went into the ancestral voices. Another person who was a motivational speaker and guided person right through NLP to neuro
Linguistic programming.
psychologist. Sorry.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, neuropsychologist, which was Dr. Joseph McClendon the third. Right? Again, a very accomplished person, and I would suggest that you get to know him or get to know of him, and look at some of the courses that he actually runs. Right, as I say, he's affiliated with Anthony Robbins, so it's in the same vein of that performance level. Okay, so he's there available for us to actually get some guidance. So, right, and then we came through, and then we was talking with our sister here this afternoon, right, about the hypnotherapies, right? And I'm hoping that I'm able to give you enough information that you do not fear about having like any therapy treatment, right? And remember, there is a difference between hypnotherapy and those hypnotists out there as well. Okay, right? So I would say if you are offered it, inquire by the person who's actually taking you through it, right? And remember, you always have the choice of yes or no. You always have the choice of yes or no, right? And I'm very aware. I am very aware of the unfortunate negative stigmatities around that process. But remember, a lot of us go through that, and we don't even realize we're already going through it as well. Anyhow, so that's my summarization for today. And Sister Sandra.
So I'd say that there's a bit of the summary that you've left out. So then our first conversation before we went into the midday meditation was around caring and the responsibilities, the challenges, the love, the experiences that both you and I have had, but we were going to be joined by Sister Sandra in the UK, but she wasn't able to join us because of the caring responsibilities. And it's just, highlighting that there are many of us that are on the journey, different parts of our caring journey, looking after our elders who are getting younger by the day and appreciating them on a different level and respecting their independence, but also understanding that they are not as independent as they were, and what we can do lovingly in order to support and help them as they transition through another phase of their life. So that was an interesting conversation. That's a conversation we will continue next strong. Sister Sandra UK says that she's aiming to join us. So we'll continue that next strong. And timing it's maybe before the midday meditation, it may be just after, but it'd be either side of the midday meditation. And then like you said, it was just the discussions that we were having in relation to, for me, it was just hearing about the event at the Horniman Museum and in terms of our ancestors and our past, and just from my understanding is that reconnection, and going and supporting and hearing and understanding our own, rather than having someone else who doesn't look like us telling our story, which doesn't necessarily always equate to our reality. So yeah, I love that conversation. So I can be contacted on Sandra, SANDRA, at mind, MIND, soul, SOUL, support, SUPPORT.com. So that's Sandra at mindsoulsupport.com. So yeah, you can reach out to me and we can have that conversation, whether or not it's from the finance point of view, or whether or not there's any additional support or service that you'd like for us to have that conversation, whether it be a coaching, whether it be looking at life skills, any of those conversations. I'm happy to support you on your journey for that understanding.
Fantastic. Right. So without further ado, we say thank you for joining us on the Blacknififcent Radio Show this strong. And we look forward to you joining us in the near future. In other words, in how many hours?
Less than 24.
Less than 24, 14 hours actually. But anyhow, right? And we look forward to you coming back with us again here on the Galaxy of We.net. Next up will be our sister Anawa, right? And we hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day. Okay? I'm going to give you some mice.
Peace.
Take care.
I got something I want to tell you. I've got something I want you to know. I'm in love with you, darling. It's so good to me. And I feel that you need me. It's so plain to see when I'm changing myself, your tenderness sets me free. Whoa, 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 whoa.